Hi, Miss Penny.
Hey, how you doing, sweetie?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing good. I see you got your head covered. I got mine's covered too, girl.
Yes, ma'am. It's not a joke.
Yes, I've been having my own warfare I've been dealing with over here. So
Really?
yeah, I had my own warfare over here. I've been dealing
Oh,
with, so got my
okay.
head covered too. Got my head
Yes.
covered
No, it
too.
makes a big difference. So,
It really does.
yeah.
Okay, so we're getting started today here.
Mhm.
We just went live. So,
Oh, okay,
welcome.
okay.
Yeah, we're live right now. Welcome
Okay.
TikTok family. Welcome YouTube family. Today we're going to talk about hoodoo cleansing and protection, breaking this down. And we have our wonderful practitioner here that's in our community. Would you like to introduce yourself?
Sure. My name is Kay. I don't know. I don't really have much to say. I've been in the community, I think, for the past 6 months or so.
Mm-hmm.
It's really been a transformative journey for me. So I'm happy to share my experiences, my stories. Um, what else? I guess I've been kind of studying this since about 2019, but
Mm-hmm.
it's been a bit difficult to find the right sources, or not just the right sources, because there's a lot of material out there, but the right guidance
Mm-hmm.
to actually get things moving and working. I am glad that, I was able to accumulate a lot of information anyways, that, here and there at different points, it comes in handy or it clicks. It's like, oh, that's why this teacher said that, or
Mm-hmm.
that teacher said that. But um, yeah, I guess a little bit about me. Like, I'm from an Afro Caribbean background. So one of the challenges with that is the information is very guarded. People don't want to talk about it. People pretend they don't know about it, or they're very afraid of it. So it's been a challenge to try to connect with that on a familial level.
Mm-hmm.
But what's great is that we cover everything,
Yeah, we do. We
in,
cover everything in there. And then you seen we have went into Caribbean magic as well.
yes,
We talk,
Maya,
yeah. You ta-
Obia, all of it.
yeah, we
Yeah.
talk
Yeah.
about all that because it relates to hoodoo.
Mhm.
It happened to our ancestors, that diaspora, and when that happened to us, all these different spiritual practices were created or were birthed,
Mhm.
trying to
Mhm.
preserve our knowledge, and no
Mhm.
different from hoodoo. And that's why we have to look at everything. Now, I think the most important thing when people jump into hoodoo, I'm gonna switch gears here for a minute, okay?
Mhm.
Um, I think the most important thing about hoodoo or any spiritual practice for that matter, before you jump in there, I think cleansing, protection, and healing is the most important thing. Uh, that I know, because I see people try to jump into stuff and then they skip the protection or they skip something else,
Mhm.
putting the cart before the horse instead of slowing down, perfecting one thing at a time and taking those steps. Now,
Mhm.
I know for you, you have been healing, and as you
Yes.
begin to heal, you became more and more. Uh, your psychic abilities became more and more heightened. You start to experience that. That's what you're going to experience, everyone. When you start to healing, your psychic abilities are going to be heightened. Okay, this is going to happen. Then you work with these angels; they'll start again accelerating your healing journey. That's what they're there for. Now,
Yes.
you will experience, if you start this, it's a good idea to cover your head, um
Mhm.
or because you're going to be open and be more aware of spiritual attacks. And so
Mhm.
that's what I wanted Kay, for her to come here and explain that today, and how that feels for her. So sorry. How that feels for her, and the steps she took to protect herself. So go ahead, Kay.
Yeah, sure. So, I've experienced like about three spiritual attacks that I can remember that I
Hmm.
felt physically. But the more that I learn about spiritual attacks, it can manifest in a lot of ways. It can be you having a bad day. It could be
Hmm.
you, feeling depressed or having a lot of self-defeating thoughts. It can be a lot of things, but more specifically, I've had about 3 instances where it was like a physical attack. I could physically feel something on me trying to take control
Mhm.
of my body. And the way it happens for me, because I would assume for everyone it's different, but for me, it comes with a smell. So there's a certain smell that I smell when it's happening. It's like a burning. If
Mm.
you've ever seen someone like burn copper, like there's people
Mhm.
who like
I've
steal
heard
copper
people
pipe.
mention sulfur sometimes. I've heard people mention
Mm,
sulfur sometimes, but you said you just smell like burnt carpet. Smells like burnt carpet to you.
like burnt, like when someone's burning trash,
Okay.
that kind of thing, like burning something really heavy. So it's that kind of smell. It starts to go into my dreams, and I have weird dreams, like really
Mhm.
weird dreams where I'm not really in control. And then it has been a paralysis at times where you're like pinned down, where I'm like pinned down on the bed and I'm like, okay, I can't do anything.
Yeah.
Um, and it feels very, very invasive. So the first time that happened, when I wasn't doing any protection work really, or yeah, I was doing, see, I used to do a lot of cleansing, but I
Mhm.
wasn't doing the protection, like the head
Mhm.
covering, stuff like that. And people say, oh, like use black obsidian, use all this stuff, but it's like, okay, how do you get it to work for you? It's one thing to carry it around, but I feel like it wasn't really working for me. But
Mhm.
anyways, the first time it happened to me was like a full paralysis, that burning smell, and
Mhm.
also just a really negative dialogue, like you
Negative
can't do
thoughts.
this.
Yeah, negative thoughts and phrases in your head. Yeah.
Yes. And it's very, very aggressive. Like
Mhm.
I can beat myself down, or I could have like negative thoughts, but it's much, much more negative, impatient, and
Mhm.
just mean, thoughts. So that was the first time it happened to me. The second time it happened to me when I started doing this work and cleansing, I could feel it around me, but
Mhm.
it wasn't able to like go through my aura and attack me, but it was still too close for comfort. Um, so that time around, that was when I had spoken with you a couple months ago, or I think only a month or so ago.
And so
And
when we spoke, what did I tell you to do?
so yeah, I did all the cleansing, the smoke, the
Mhm.
wash, everything. And then you're like, make sure you lay down salt. You lay down the layer of salt anywhere you have an entrance. So
Mhm.
not just the front door, but if you have a back door too,
Yeah.
make
And
sure
one
you.
thing I want to interject here, because this
Mhm.
is important too. If you have children, a mate, these things can come in through your house with your
That's
mate.
true.
They have no idea.
That's
That's why
true.
we have to be diligent when you're practicing this. They don't know. They're not as aware of you if you're a practitioner, but it is your duty and responsibility to fortify that home, whether they know or not.
Yeah, it's
Because
true.
now you're open now. You're open, you're heightened, you're aware, and they're not. So you're the soldier in charge. You're on duty now. You
Mhm.
took that. So you
Mhm.
know what's
Mhm.
going on. So, I had to, because I asked her, I said, "Are you the only one living there?" She was like, "No." I have a boyfriend. I was like, "Oh, he may have brought something in accidentally.
Mhm. Mhm.
Not his
That.
fault."
Mhm.
You know.
There's that too. Yeah,
Uh-huh.
making sure it's cleansed, everyone's cleansed. And
Mhm.
what was important for me too was making sure there's a protection barrier, because it's one thing to
Mhm.
clean, but laying down the salt around the perimeter
Mhm.
is very important.
Yeah.
And that did the trick, you know. And then the last time it happened to me, I was away from home.
Mhm.
So,
That was the
one
most
thing is
recent one we had a discussion on. Is that the most
yes,
recent one? Okay.
yes, just a couple days ago. So I was
Mhm.
away from home. And like, first of all, when I travel, I bring all my stuff, like, especially if it's like a hotel, Airbnb, I spray everything down. I put crystals in the corners. But because I'm visiting family, I'm a lot more limited
Uh-huh.
to what I can do. And so I brought the stuff that I could, but lo and behold, like one night. So, oh yeah, because now I can tell you what it was really like because I could only type so much in the chat.
Okay.
But it was after about midnight, and I don't know. I started to feel uncomfortable. I started to feel a little bit like afraid of the dark. I just wasn't
Mhm.
feeling settled. And I did feel a presence. I felt more than I felt two presence,
Uh-huh.
at the window and at the door. And then, I was about to do my own, like I was about to do my own kind of ritual. Um, and I kept hearing like, don't do it. Don't do it. It's gonna go wrong, and I thought, I don't know, maybe because I'm not at home, but then it got more and more aggressive, like this is not like someone shouting at me,
Yeah.
which is not normal. That's not how I think. That's not how I talk
Mhm.
to myself, even on the worst day. But
Mhm.
I still felt like, I'm not at home. Everywhere is not fully cleansed. So you never know. Um, and then I was a little bit like, I don't want to deal with this. I just want to go to bed. You know what I mean? So I'm like, you know what? Let me just pick it up tomorrow. And I went to bed. And then in the middle of the night, I wake up and I literally feel something like try to push me off the bed,
Uh-huh.
like a big push. I felt the push, but then whatever it was, like bounced off of me, like it didn't impact me, right? And I was like, like that was like, wow, that was not good. So I started praying and doing, whatever, like just trying to pray, get it out for the night. And then the next day, since I had all my stuff with me, I had hyssop, there were some lemons in the house, salt in the house. What else did I
Mhm.
have? Um, Hyssop was the main thing, and then one thing too that I do, that you encourage us to do is let our ancestors guide us on what to do,
Uh-huh.
like
That's
not
right.
run a book and say, okay, you need to do this. No, okay,
Mhm.
they were like, okay, you're going to do Psalms 29, you're going to
Mhm.
get the lemons and the hyssop and whatever else you can get. I don't know, for some reason I can't remember the other herbs, but the hyssop is most important. And I just prayed over that water. I did a floor wash. I washed the house. I had my spray bottle with me so I could spray all the corners. And then, I couldn't do salt everywhere
Mhm.
because like it's too obvious,
Yeah.
like what are you
You got to
doing?
be incognito. You're trying to be incognito when you're doing this.
Exactly. But I
Yeah.
could at least do it in the bedroom I was sleeping in and also in the bathroom
Mhm.
I was using because I was doing my meditation and my bath in the bathroom.
Mhm.
So, that did the trick, which was good. And then the other thing, lo and behold, the next morning when I wake up, I hear someone on the phone talking about me, saying that people were talking about me and they were like upset that, I didn't visit them and I chose to visit this family member and I didn't tell them. And I was like, that's the source. Two people coming together talking about me saying, oh, she's this, she's that.
Gossip will do
And
it.
then,
Gossip.
yeah. So it was like, it was like clockwork the next morning, I heard it. And then the day after, another one of my family members was talking about that person, was saying, I think she has an evil spirit in her, the person that was talking about me. So it's like,
Mm.
it all clicked.
Mhm.
So it was really good to have this, I feel like I'm becoming an expert in cleansing now because of just
Uh-huh.
what I'm experiencing. But
Yes.
man, it's not fun, but it's
It's
good to
so
be able to deal with it.
yeah, it's not fun because you will deal with, don't think that when you get in here, that I like to tell people, you have to master a spiritual attack before you even, start picking up magic, because as you heighten your awareness, these spirits see you. They do. And Kate had a chance to see them interact through her family
Mhm,
members,
mhm,
whether they're aware of it or not, but she's aware of
mhm,
it. Okay, she went right into, defense mode, with protection
mhm,
mode. We kind of gonna talk about defense
mhm,
too, but this is what happened when you start cleansing your physical, I mean your psychic abilities begins to heighten. You're more aware. No, you haven't did anything bad. You're just
Mhm.
aware. And they are aware that they can't feed off you, even though they will try.
Exactly.
They will manifest in the forms of these thoughts that she was having. She knew that wasn't hers.
Yeah.
Okay. This presence that she was feeling, she knew that wasn't her
Mhm.
energy. So this is why, I'm not trying to be mean when I tell you get somewhere and sit down and be quiet. I literally mean
Mhm.
that. Because the only way you're going to, know your energy from another presence if you're sitting with yourself in your own energy and then healing
Mhm.
it. Because if you don't heal it, these spirits will be attracted to that and they can mildly take possession of
It's
you.
true. It's
Okay?
true.
They can mildly take possession of you. You don't know why you saying and doing crazy stuff, why you feeling the way you feeling. This is a real thing. I know you think that you're going to be seeing, apparitions and Casper and all that sort of stuff. No, you're not. You're going to be feeling and thinking
Mhm.
your thoughts.
It's
Okay. At
it's
some point,
true.
can they physically try to inhabit you? Yes, they can. But if you are aware of your feelings and things like that, it makes it impossible. Now you seen the girl with the here on the TikTok, the girl unalived herself
I didn't
because she
see
didn't
that.
have protection.
Wow.
Okay. Her mind, you have some people, their minds can be easily manipulated. They don't have a strong mind.
Mm.
Okay. That's why, some of this music gets easily influence people because they're easy to be hypnotized or programmed.
Yeah.
Okay. You see they're going with the music and you seeing they go on with the movies. Now, okay, while I have you up here, I would just want to talk about, how's your experience been since you've been in the community?
It's been very transformative. It's been
Hmm.
very it's been very effective. It's been very I feel like it's like the easiest way for me to talk about it is the experience I had in the past that didn't work. Because a lot of times,
Uh-huh.
you're thirsty for this knowledge, you're willing to do the work, you're a sincere seeker.
Hmm.
You don't
Yeah.
want to you
Yeah.
don't want to be with the fluff, but that's all some people have to offer
Yeah.
you and you don't know any better, you
Hmm.
know? And you think, "Oh, if they're charging more, it's because you're going to get more." And that's
Yeah.
not the case. And then a lot of people, they don't want to help you. They don't welcome questions. So you get used to not
Hmm.
asking. Like in the beginning, I felt a little bit
Yeah.
shy to reach out to you because I thought, oh, what if she turns around and curses me out? Because I've had that happen to me
No, no,
before.
no.
Like, oh, you should
No, no,
Google
no,
it. You
no.
should this, you should that. And you just,
Oh my
yeah.
God. I'm so sorry that happened to you, okay?
Yeah, it's okay. I mean, it's behind me now, but it's great that we can ask you questions and you make yourself available to support us because in these
Hmm.
situations that were very dire and very serious, I was able to contact
Hmm.
you and you were able to get back to me promptly and say, "Oh, did you make sure you
Hmm.
covered your head? Did you make sure you put down
Hmm.
salt?" Because these things can
Hmm.
drag on for months if
Hmm.
you don't know what
They
to do.
can.
And the answer
Hmm.
is simple, but if you don't have the experience, you won't know. And some people only know how to throw a book at you. I mean, reading is
Yeah.
important. The resources are important,
Hmm.
and you give us a lot to read and to do.
Yep.
Um,
Hmm.
but at the same time, it's great to be able to ask questions and you know how to direct
Hmm.
us to be more
Uh-huh.
self-directed. So even if you answer, you're not going to tell us the answer, right? You're not going to say,
Yeah.
"Oh, I tapped in and I can see that this is going on."
Yeah.
No, you're going to say, "What did your ancestors say?" So
Yep.
you get into a certain habit of, "Oh, let me see what my ancestors said. Oh, let me
Mhm.
see.
Mhm.
Wait, spiritual attack. Well, I know what to do. I have hyssop. I have this. I have that." Okay, when it
Mhm.
doesn't work, we can say, "Okay, I tried this. It's not working. What do we do?" And then
Mhm.
you can give us more
Mhm.
solutions. So that's been extremely helpful, especially with those critical situations. I think that
Mhm.
the information is unmatched. Like the books and the resources are unmatched.
Mhm.
there's nothing else out there that I know of, and people that are willing to give you all of that. Because, as we know, there's a lot of egos out there. There's a lot of people who gatekeep, or who don't want to help you for whatever reason, or they haven't done the healing work to know that that's not how you teach someone. So they could have a good
Yeah.
intention, but they end up doing the work for you instead of teaching you.
Mm-hmm.
And then you end up kind of
Yeah.
like dependent. So
Yeah.
it's really, I think you're a fantastic teacher. I think you really know how to teach. And a lot of people, they're not teaching. And I'm not saying this to bash anyone, but it's like I feel like, for so long, for years, I've been searching and trying to find, and people who put themselves out there as teachers, they're not really teaching, they're sharing their opinion. And then
Mm-hmm.
a lot of it is externally focused. So we have a lot of people online saying, oh, this is what's happening in the government. This is what's going to happen in
Yeah.
2026. This
Yeah.
is what the energy is. And then, okay, but what do you do with your own life?
Nice. Yeah.
Now,
How do we combat this? What's the spiritual solution to this? Yeah.
exactly. So I found my experience in this community, I'm able to go into my own world. I'm able to tap it and direct my own life. And what I like is that, you encourage us to work with what we have, because
Mm-hmm.
sometimes if your experiences don't match the traditional experiences or what's in a book, you can feel left out, or you can
Mm-hmm.
feel like you're not spiritual. But then if you
Uh-huh.
like, if you're journaling, if you're paying attention to your thoughts, if you're doing meditations and paying attention to your visions, you realize, no, you are having spiritual experiences. It's just unique to you.
Mm-hmm.
It's not,
Mm-hmm.
just because you're not seeing, Oshun by a waterfall,
Mm-hmm.
doesn't mean that what else you're in contact with, is not something else that somebody doesn't have a name for, or you haven't
Mm-hmm.
found yet. So I've found that, your teaching and the community and the resources have allowed me to cultivate what I have, to the point where it's kind of hard to look into the other things, because I'm uncovering what's within me.
That's right. That's how it should
Yeah.
be. That's how it should
There's
be. Yes,
and
yes, yes.
there's so much there that it's hard to
Mhm.
go and research, like Yemaya and all these others, because
Uh-huh.
it's like there's so much when it comes to ancestors. And I like the
Mhm.
perspective you provide about ancestors, because it's not just family. You say so much.
Yeah.
It's even back to elements and plants, and um so that's been really helpful, I think, to open our mind.
Mhm.
I think as well, like working with our astrology, our sign, has been helpful,
Mhm.
because like for me, I was a little bit reluctant before, to kind of work with work with my sign and my element and
Yeah.
stuff like that. But it's
But you had great results working with angels,
yes,
didn't you?
yes. So that's I mean, working with angels has been amazing. It has been truly amazing, and they can do a lot for us. They can support us a lot, and they do. Like you said, they have to.
Mhm.
And at some point, I was just like, I need y'all to help me. Like, I need y'all to help me.
Mhm.
This is not a joke, you know. And they help. So,
And how did they show up for you? Because I
okay.
tell a lot of people, when they contact archangels, how they'll show up. They'll come up with
Hmm.
creativity. They would, you'll see more synchronicity. Uh, your thoughts will be more positive. Your mood will be
Hmm.
uplifted. How did they show up for you?
Okay, so for me, it's like I find it's completely different from things that I read,
Okay.
or things that I expected to happen. But I had a
Uh
I
huh.
had a happy moment. I mean, I had a positive result nonetheless. So for
Mhm.
me, I would say, like, definitely I feel more uplifted. I feel lighter. I
Mhm.
feel happier. They also help me a
Mhm.
lot with organization and understanding how things work, like thinking about
Okay.
things in systems. So I'm a lot more
Mhm.
organized now. I know how to look at things holistically. They even,
Uh huh.
like I shared with you, they even gave me a chart to organize how to communicate with them, and what to
Mhm.
expect and how to get things
Mhm.
running. And I can actually understand
Uh-huh.
how it's this kind of thinking that created calendars and why people do things
Uh-huh.
on a Tuesday or a Monday or this. It's like
Uh-huh.
they I guess because they're already organized in order, they understand
Uh-huh.
order. So, and
Uh-huh.
they exist in an order. So they
Mhm.
can teach you that. They can project that to you so you can start to see order in the universe and order in
Uh-huh.
spirituality where before for me it was very chaotic. So, I
Uh-huh.
think that's how it's been for me. Yeah.
Yeah. I loved your experience. I just when you had that experience, I mean, I felt a lot of joy, and I knew you were having the experience, especially when you bought out that
Mhm.
calendar, and you were just like, "This is how he told me to do it." I was like, "Oh my gosh, she's had a real
Mhm.
experience, and now she's sharing it." So I feel so much joy and gratitude when you guys are doing the work and you start having these experiences, because I know if you're doing it right and you're sincere and you're not coming with the fluff, these spirits are going to roll up on
Mhm.
you. That's going to
Mhm.
happen. Okay. And you are going to get stronger and stronger and more confident in your practice um, as you move
Mhm.
along. If you just, stay consistent, keep your rituals up with your ancestors. Again, that's going to keep you grounded. And before you know it, you'll be picking up things and you will be a practitioner full on. Okay, it's just going to happen one day, but it takes slowly integrating it into your
Mhm.
life. Okay, that's why I like to tell people.
Oh,
Is there anything?
yeah,
Go
no, I
ahead.
just remembered.
I was just about to ask you, is there anything else you want to
Yes,
share before we
yes.
move on to
So,
this book
oh my
reviews?
gosh, a couple things. So, ancestors, you know, I know you always say ancestors, ancestors, but they really are
Mm-hmm.
fundamental. Like for me,
Mm-hmm.
things started happening after the ancestral altar. And I was very, like, I was dragging my feet to do the physical altar because I had heard so
Uh-huh.
many different people say over the years, like, oh, we don't need altars, or you are the magic, or you are the ritual. And it sounds good. But it's like,
I do.
you know, I guess I guess you get used to not having results. And then when you see stuff start working, you're like,
Mm-hmm.
what I was doing wasn't working. I just it
Mm-hmm.
just in my mind, I thought it was. So basically, after setting up an ancestor altar, I've never felt more mentally stable in my life, ever. And I've done tons of therapy, tons of healing. Um,
Mm-hmm.
but having the physical altar and in the way that they want and that they direct you to do it it was life changing for me, because
Mm-hmm.
mental health, emotional health has been a real struggle for me for a long time, just to feel
Mm-hmm.
strength and stability.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like that altar changed everything. And something I wanted to share with you too is, I was asking my ancestors, I was like, why the physical altar? Why does it make such a big difference? And they said, well, how would you feel if you got offerings, but you didn't have a place to live? Would you be
Oh
stable?
gosh.
And I
No,
thought,
that makes sense.
yeah, like imagine you lived on the street, people gave you things, but you didn't know where you were going to sleep. You wouldn't feel stable. You would still not feel stable.
Mm-mm.
So now that they have a home, things can be stable. They have a home. So that was fundamental. Before anything you're going to do, you know, always ancestors first. Don't set up other altars before you do that, and don't neglect your ancestors. I mean, they're the foundation of what you do, and they bring you spirits. They bring you who you
I tell people that they will bring spirits to
yeah,
you. I'm telling you, they will bring spirits to. That's why I say go to your ancestors first before you start working with spirits. Because if you want to do that, they know what spirits they want you to work with.
exactly. Exactly. You don't have to go looking for anything. And they'll tell you everything you want to know. They'll tell you everything you want to know, where you're from, your roots, and it will surprise you. I know you've
Hmm.
gone through this too, but it will surprise you. And they're very, very, very smart, intelligent. Like
Hmm.
they just know
Hmm.
so much. And it's funny,
Hmm.
actually, I had an experience. Was it was yesterday. So as I'm traveling, I brought my tarot deck, my oracle cards, my all my stuff.
Mhm.
And they said have it on the dresser, no problem. But yesterday they said,
Mhm.
put it back in your suitcase, right?
Mhm.
Yesterday, two people from the church of my relative came to the house to fix stuff.
So they was warning you, they were protecting
Exactly.
you.
Yeah.
Wow.
So it's like they tell you stuff and
They do.
it's true. It works. You'll be
Mhm.
surprised.
That's that's why that was the main thing I was having when I was talking to people. I think that was the craziest thing on my spiritual journey because I had to learn to trust them. People would be sitting up lying and the ancestors be telling the truth. And I'd be like, what the hell? Is they ancestor, you lying? No, we ain't lying. They lying.
Wow.
We know what we talking about. You need to stop looking at these people because they don't know what they talking about. We know what we talking about.
They do.
That is so hard because you're having to trust something you can't
Yeah.
see. And these people, I mean, God, it's almost like a magic
Mhm.
show.
Yes.
It's almost like a magic show with these people. You be like, oh my God, they seem so convincing.
Yeah. It's true. It's
It's
true.
so it is. You have to learn to trust these, follow your intuition and your ancestors because some of these people are doing magic tricks. Are they doing it on purpose? I don't
Mhm.
know.
Mhm.
I just learned to stop getting myself confused and listening to them and follow the ancestors and look at me and stop looking at these
Mhm.
folks. Okay.
Mhm.
And I try to get you guys to do it too. Look at your ancestors because they know better than me. And that's what I'm gonna send you to because you're not gonna get me in trouble with your ancestors. I'm gonna send you right over there to
Mhm.
them. I'm not gonna play that with
Mhm.
you. And I know they probably already told you, but it's something that you don't want to do. And you're not gonna get me in trouble with them because they told you what to do, but you're gonna go to
Mhm.
me and say you're gonna get it. People do that to you. You understand
Mhm.
me? People do that to you, try to bypass spirit. No, the spirit then told
Yeah.
them to get somewhere and sit down and be quiet. But then they go to a practitioner. So if they're a good practitioner, that practitioner's gonna say the same thing their ancestors
Yeah.
said. And then most of the time they're gonna say, that's what the last practitioner told me. But why don't you do it? You'll get that sometimes from these people, but that's why I tell you guys follow your
Mhm.
ancestors. They know.
Mhm.
And I'm going to rock with your ancestors. If they're telling you to do something and I know you're doing the work, I know what they're
Mhm.
talking about because they can see things, they know things that we don't even know. You can't even
It's
imagine.
true.
Okay. So when they tell you something, listen to them. They know what they're talking
Mhm.
about. It may not agree with some of these people out here, what they saying.
Mhm.
Okay. You're following the spirit.
Mhm.
People, they are, if they haven't done the work, they're open to manipulation and deception.
The other thing I
And
remember too, which is great about this mentorship in this group, is that we learn divination and multiple forms of
yeah.
divination. So you can
Mhm.
have guidance on a daily basis. You don't have to wait
Mhm.
or have the money to pay someone to give you something, and you have to hope, that
Mhm.
hope that it's going to guide you and be confused, no. But the thing is, you have to train. You give us the tools and the workshop, but we
Mhm.
have to work on it. You might feel like, man, I can't read
Mhm.
these cards, or it's not making sense. But you have to go back and study. Okay, what do these cards mean? What do these things mean? Keep doing the
Mhm.
cleansing so that you
Mhm.
can tap in easier, or even learn how to do
Mhm.
the meditation so that you can go in with the right
Mhm.
mindset. Like, I would say those are the
Yeah.
points where it's challenging, because you have to put in the work, because it's easy
You
to
do.
say, I can't tap in, let me just get a reading, and
Yeah.
you know you can do that, but in the long run, it's not going to work. You have to put in the time to develop those skills, and it's going to help you. It's going to help you.
Yeah.
Okay, if you're confused, you don't know what's going on, okay, let's just do a simple spread. Oh, this is what's happening, this is what's going on, or I'm on the
Mhm.
right track. Like, a lot of times what happens with me is I'm doing better than I think I am. I think, oh my gosh, I'm not
Mhm.
doing this, or I'm not doing enough. I look and it's like, oh no, I'm on the right track.
And I think that's a common thing with all of y'all because I have some of y'all to come to me and I have to redirect y'all. Be like, no, 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 you're doing a great job. You know, I have to let you know. And I guess some of us, we have self-doubt. So I have to hurry up and redirect
Mhm.
you. And so you can look at your milestone and say, hey, you're doing a good job. You're right where you need to
Mhm.
be. Stop comparing yourself. You're right where you need to be on your journey. So I think that is a common thing among all of you guys. I
Really?
have to
Yeah.
constantly,
Wow.
yeah, I think it is because some of you guys, a few of you guys have said that to me, and I'm like, no, you're making
Mhm.
progress. Remember when you first came here and da 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 da, look where you're at
Mhm.
now.
Mhm.
Then most of you be like, oh yeah, you're right, Miss Penny. Yeah, I know I am. You
Mhm.
know, keep going on. Stop comparing yourself and take your time. The more you slow down, the better you're gonna be. I promise.
That's yeah. I mean, these tips are so good, but sometimes they're tough to practice.
I know, I know, I know,
But
girl.
it's
I
but then when
know.
you get the results, you're like, "Man, I should have done this earlier."
Yep, that's how I be. That's how I be. Exactly how I was
Mhm.
too. Be patient with
Mhm.
yourself. Um, keep doing what you're doing. Proud of everyone in our community. Kaya, she's just one of our practitioners in our community that's having success, but there's others. They're probably on this live stream right now in our community because we're streaming this right from sorry, from our platform as
Okay.
well. So she's just one practitioner that is having results. There's others in there as well. She agreed to come here and talk about her experience with the cleansing
Mhm.
part. And is there anything else you want to share before we dive into our book review? Hey.
No, I think that's everything. Like, yeah, I think that's everything. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So I'm going to let you go, and then we'll just go into our book review. So you guys are going to learn some really juicy things
Okay,
here.
sounds good.
So we'll be here for a minute. Okay.
Okay. Bye.
Can I? Do I need to get you? Bye bye. Can I get you out of here? Okay, there we go. Okay. Now, from a TikTok family, I know you guys because you guys could not hear the interview on YouTube. So I know you guys are TikTok family saying, "What is going on?" The YouTube family can hear it, but you were not able to hear it, and I apologize for that. You can always go back and watch the live stream on YouTube. Okay. So we're gonna dive into a topic. Excuse me, guys. Wrestling with a cold. Okay, so the first thing we dived into that I'm going to cover here, you guys, is going to go into hoodoo cleansing. I said I would go into this, and we are going to go into it. We talked about it a little bit yesterday. We're going to talk about it a little bit now. Negative and positive forces are equally balanced in our world. Sadly, this concept also applies to people. Good people assume that everyone possesses good qualities, and despite exhibiting inappropriate behaviors, many of us desperately struggle to see the good in everybody. Conversely, the bad ones see good people as pawns, as patsies, and interpret their values and demeanors as a sign of weakness. So, this is how you see these people, the manipulators, the deceivers. I mean, we're seeing it in our government right now. Okay. They're going to be looking you out. People that they're going by the name as narcissists, sociopaths, parasites. Okay. Some of them are family members. They're really going to be people that's really close to you when you start to do this work. Okay. These bad people are often predators such as narcissists, sociopaths, thieves, liars, con artists, scammers, abusers, etc. You say you want to know spiritual warfare. You want to know how that looks, how that shows up in your 3D reality. This is how this shows up. And these spirits do jump from people to people. They will use the same phrases. You know it's a spirit because most of them have the same type of phrases and characteristics. So we're talking about a spirit here. Okay? You know them when you see them. And as you become you go on this journey and you begin to heal and your psychic abilities become more heightened and heightened and heightened, they can see that on you. And you'll be able to see them jump from person to person trying to get to you. I hope a lot. Did anyone go watch the movie Fallen? Like I told I told you can watch that show, and that show will give you a great idea of how these spirits jump from people to people. Okay, that's what you're seeing. You kind of see it in the Matrix too, when these people turn into Mr. Smith. Same thing. That's what they're showing you there. Okay, so that is why it should be. I don't know where you can find it at. I don't know where you can watch it at. I will Google that. Maybe you'll Google it. It'll take you to where you can watch it. Okay, that's an assignment. Some research you can do on that. But it's an old movie. It's called Fallen. Okay, the narcissist and the sociopath may wish to steal social, work status, and significant other or family. And so I'm gonna give you a prime example of that. This is a poor, I don't know. I'm gonna use it anyway. You see, because it's in the media, so maybe you can relate to that because a lot of y'all like the media and you like keeping up with stuff. So I'm gonna use this as an example. Look at Papoose and Remy. Papoose, was an opportunist, and now he done jumped on over that girl. With the girl, what the girl name? I forgot the girl name, the boxer girl. With that girl now. This is how these spirits are gonna show up in these people. Okay, and he was again, they steal energy, whether it's in the form of currency, whether it's in the form of draining you emotionally and mentally. These people will be stealing energy from you in some form. They have no, and see, he can't even generate his own income. He can't even generate his own, his on his own. He has to go through these women and steal their energy. This is how these spirits will operate. And I think, and now for me, because I've talked about this, when we start looking at narcissism and we're looking at the percentage of it, and I remember when I was in a domestic violence shelter and we were talking about mental health. And what they were talking about, they said more men, there is a narcissism is more prominent in men than it is in women. I didn't say this. This is what the statistics, this is what the numbers say. Yeah, that's her name, Clarissa Shields. That's the child name. And she has no idea that this man, again, is a vampire that's leeching off of her. I don't care how he present himself. Look at his actions. I'm not talking, I don't give a care. Look at his behavior. Look at the behavior that's telling you what the spirit is. Okay? Look at these people's behavior. Now, does he know that he being used like that? I don't know. But he know he need to heal and get it together. So he can get himself together and stop oozing off these women like this. Maybe he focus more on himself and stop trying to womanize these women and feed off their energy and generate his own energy. He'll do better. But that ain't gonna turn out right. Okay, that ain't gonna turn out. That ain't gonna amount to a hill of beans. But this is how you would see it. Especially women, you are more susceptible to spiritual attack like that. Okay, you're more susceptible to spiritual attack. I'm gonna stop that right there. But that's really how they're going to show up. I'm trying to give you another example of this. Maybe another example come up as we move on. But this is how they're going to show up. And if you're not careful, they'll be feeding off your depression. They'll be feeding off your sadness. They'll be feeding off your anger. That's how you know they're taking an effect. That somebody is draining you because it's going to affect your mental and emotional health. Okay? Now it's hiding under these other names. Like I said, these other names, narcissist, con art, these are spirits working through people. I don't understand that question, Najee World. I don't understand that question. Okay. Once such predators target their victims, they immediately and masterfully begin to manipulate and minimize their victims' sense of control. Little by little, they empower themselves by robbing their targets of their self esteem. leaving the victim doubting themselves and fearful, thus forcing them to rely on the predator for a never to be realized redemption or recovery. Now, I've heard that people go into these houses too, these ATRs or covens of religions. You can get caught in this with these people as well. They like to call them cults or whatever. Um, and you kind of seeing that, with the orange man as well. But this is what these people do. Okay, they're there to take away your self-esteem, your intuition, your self-confidence, and they want you directly, because if you depending on them, they can control you. That's how these spirits operate. Okay, you see it in the music industry as well. Oh, you think these people just doing horrible things? Oh, they're just doing horrible things. No, it's these spirits that they're feeding. Now, are some of them aware of it? Some of them are. You already seen it in the music industry. This crazy stuff, these rituals and stuff. You think you going to a concert? These people doing a ritual while you in there. You participating in that stuff with these folks. Okay. I know what you think. Every now and then they would do a supernatural manifestation, but why would they do that? They're there to take energy. They're not there to use their energy. So they're not they get more out of it by staying invisible through people. They gain more energy that way than to make a fully manifest in that way. It takes too much energy for them. Why do that when you can manipulate people's mind and emotions and steal energy that way? Okay. You got to take, I know what you've been seeing and all that. You'll see. I had a young lady that came. My heart just, melted when the young lady said it. She said she was out at the store. She was buying something. She ran into these young ladies. She kind of glanced over there at them. They start antagonizing her. They pepper sprayed her, beat her up, and somebody had to go. Some people, the cashier and stuff, had to come out and break it up. Okay. She said it was crazy because she couldn't believe that was happening. This is how some of these spirits operate. There was spirits in these women. Okay. Just like the young lady that unalived herself on this TikTok thing. Oh, it's a lot of spirits on here. I don't see how y'all don't see them. Okay. It's a lot of spirits in these people. Now you think you're gonna be seeing them uh some supernatural stuff. Now you're gonna be seeing people with some jacked up behavior, letting these spirits feed off them. Okay, that's what you're going to see. And if your mind, you don't have control of you're not self-aware of your mind and emotions, then they can use you. And at some point they probably have, and you don't even know it. Okay? Instead, during the entire process, the victim's sense of well-being is compromised both emotionally, spiritually, making them vulnerable to further harm wherever negative forces are present. Okay, so you need to know, I think it is imperative that if you jump into hoodoo that you know this. Know spiritual warfare when you see it. Know how to spiritually protect yourself. If you don't know how to do any protection and spiritual defense work, don't pick up hoodoo. You don't know how to cleanse yourself or none of that. And usually if you're working with your most elevated ancestors, they're gonna have you doing it. They're gonna have you taking baths, doing more cleansing and protection and more defense work before you even pick up anything. And if you do pick something up, they're gonna lead you to put it together, and it's gonna be simple because they don't want you doing anything complicated. I've noticed that about you follow your ancestors. You see all that stuff these folks got going on with the glitter and all that stuff. When the ancestors have you doing something, it's gonna be so simple, and you're gonna be like, "Is this gonna work?" Yeah, it's gonna work. Do it the way we told you to do it, and it worked. Okay, that's who you need to be following. That's who's gonna be helping you in your magic, not these people. You need to be following the spirit, not these people. Peace, Auntie. Where you been? I've been here, sweetie. I was here yesterday. Okay. So you again follow your ancestors, not these people. Even when you come to me, that's where I'm gonna have your face at. You better get over there and talk to your ancestors. And if it's not clear, I'm gonna pry. Have you been doing your work? Because nobody's getting out of this without doing work, and you ain't no different. And these spirits gotta trust you. Okay, yeah. Let's go here. Let me see. However, there are always means to counterattack. Everyone and everything has their own vulnerabilities, and we will exploit those weaknesses and learn to prevail over the negative influences with spell work, prayer, adjusting our own behavior. That's the first thing you need to do is adjust. Because if you're letting them trigger you, what happens? You letting them trigger you and lower your vibration. Now they can jump onto you and start using you. You see how some people they'll get into an argument and go back and forth with each other. Then look at how they going back and forth. These spirits is getting something out of that. We have to learn. That's when the ego death it happens here. We have to learn to walk away. Don't argue or try to prove anything to anybody. State your opinion and walk away. Because these spirits that they're gonna feed and most of them are antagonistic. They have to engage. If you engage, that's how they feed. But if you don't engage, they can't, and it really pisses them off. That's when they'll start. Some of people they'll start with the profanity, the da da this, da da that. You know, it gets ugly when you walk away because they're trying to get you to engage so they can feed. And you'll have sometimes they'll get worse when you ask them, "Why are you doing this?" Sometimes they get worse, or sometimes you can see them trying to come out of the stupor that they're in and really ask themselves the questions, but they'll continue with the behavior. Watch people and slow down. When you learn this, you're going to become a certified psychologist. I promise you. You're going to always be analyzing people and paying attention to their words and how they say it and when they say it. You're going to be able to look at the energy that they're working with. And as you should be able to diagnose, see this. This is where your discernment becomes better. But if you're skipping protection work, your discernment gonna be raggedy. Okay, your discernment is not gonna be good if you're not practicing protection work and you're uh not studying how these spirits show up in this 3D reality. You looking for some ghosting, some stuff off the TV, Hollywood stuff that happen. No, it ain't gonna happen like that. But you definitely gonna be seeing these spirits in these people if you slow down. Okay. By examining, explore ways to deter or prevent future occurrences by examining the causes that brought forth the negative people, events, or forces. We find enough knowledge to avoid future encounters. Again, people are saying, "Hey, yeah, keep your house clean. Don't let any dust build up in your home. Be careful." I had one practitioner; her ancestors on top of her, honey. She laid that stuff down for the service people came out of there. She was aware that them service people was bringing something in, and she knew the thing. Oh, I love when she was talking about the experience. She knew the thing knew that she had laid it down because she had laid that stuff down at the front door. And guess what? The servicemen, they never came to the back door. They came to the back door that day. Okay. She said they came to the back door. She said, so Miss Penny, whatever it is, I know that that thing knows that I put that down because they don't never come to the back door, but they came to the back door today. You'll know when you're putting your stuff down. Now that's just like me. I put that stuff, put some fiery wall of protection down around my house. Servicemen used to just walk on in, but now they can't. They have to immediately stop and they have to stand there. They won't come in until I say come in. Do they know? Some of them unconscious of that, but that don't matter if they know or not. You know. You know what you're doing. Forget what other people doing. They know if you know at work, if they stopping, I know when it work. Because you ain't just walking in here no more. You standing there looking crazy until I tell you to come in here. Okay? That's how you know it work. Or if they're trying to avoid now, my realtor, he used to come up here. Me and him had some back and forth a little bit. I had to check him a little bit about who I was. But now he can't come up here. I put that down. That doesn't mean that, he's my enemy. No. It means whatever is using him, knows that it can't do it. And is he aware of that? Probably not. It doesn't matter. I don't give a care if he's if he's aware of it or not. I know. I know what's going on with you. And if I was to tell you in the first place, you wouldn't believe it. Okay, you're gonna make up an excuse what it really is. But I'm not gonna listen to you. I'm looking at your behavior and what you're doing. You can say whatever you want to say, but I'm still looking at what you're doing. And you have to be a matter of fact like this, because see, people are trying to rationalize this type of behavior and stuff and gaslight you. Okay, but our ancestors, especially shamans and things like that, they knew they was looking at when people was having this raggedy behavior. They knew this was spirits. Ain't nobody just waking up just want to be horrible like that. Who want to wake up and just be a horrible person like that? Come on now, let's just think about it. Okay, these are miserable people that want to spread that stuff. I got to get you to looking at it like that, because it's people like that, and that you don't feed into it. When you start seeing them people take your energy back and your power and start walking away and take it to that altar. Then this is when you learn to use your emotions on that altar to move your work. Oh, you give emotional control. Yeah, be pissed off, but you're gonna take it to that altar. You're not gonna even feed that thing. You're gonna use that energy to feed your work. Does this make sense to you? Now you're learning to how to release those emotions and how to move your work. Nobody is stealing it anymore. You're able to use it to move your work, because you're gonna have to feel your work too. Okay? This is when we learn to reserve our energy, and you're gonna get more results like this. But sometimes we're leaking energy because we do a lot of reacting and not a lot of responding. Have I lost anybody? Do you understand what I'm saying? Be calm. You're going to have to learn to be calm. And a lot of this happens too if your nervous system is a lot of our nervous system has been damaged. So this is why I recommend doing a lot of sitting down, being quiet. You need to be to yourself to reset your nervous system. Okay? There should be a lot of spiritual baths and sitting by yourself, when you first start this, because again, we're trying to reset our nervous system. Because our nervous system is going to be giving us information about when we go in situations or things like that that's not good for us. So again, we have to reset that nervous system. Okay? And then learning to trust it when something is going on and you feel it going haywire. That's your intuition trying to tell you something. You say, hey, what's going on? Why am I feeling really nervous? Why am I feeling uneasy? Why am I having these thoughts? But if you lack self awareness, you're going to be missing information. Okay? You can be under spiritual attack and not even know it. That's why we get you to slowing down. And even when you're telling me things, if you're coming to me, the first thing I'm going to start assessing you, because your senses matter. You go to say, Miss Penn, I feel like I'm being spiritually attacked. Well, baby, how do you feel? What's your thoughts? I'm going to go to Prime. Oh, well, yes, that is, baby. Go ahead and start doing this and this and that. And then we got this resource over there too if you want to do some more stuff. Okay. because your sensitive stuff matter. I had someone the other day was in my box, and they were sharing their experience about their ancestors in a dream, and I had to go to prime. Well, how did you feel? What were you thinking? Because it's psychic information in there. That's why I'm telling you. Sometimes we're getting a lot of psychic information, but we dismiss it because we don't recognize or acknowledge our own feelings and thoughts. Yes, be present. Okay. And don't forget what these other people are doing, because these people that's under these spirits that have you thinking, oh, you paranoid. No, no, I'm not none of that. I know I'm aware. Now, if you choose to, walk around here and let these spirits jump in and out of you like that, go ahead. But I'm aware, and I'm going to remove myself from this because this don't feel right. Okay. And if you know they got that going on with their loved one, if you can, I have some practitioners, honey. They so slick, honey. I just love them. They just as slick and clever. They know how to go in there and do work for their family members and friends without them even knowing it. Okay. That's the main thing, to help them folks. Help them folks if you can. Give them a bath or something. Make it smell good. Tell them, hey, I was thinking about you and I love you and I think this will help you. Do this right here. Okay? Make it sound special. Like you was thinking about them. They like that. Some people like that kind of stuff. Okay, but if you can, do some work around them if you can, or protect yourself. Now you have some people that they are fully in agreement with these type of energies, and you have family members, they're going to continue to want to abuse you. These spirits are going to continue to work through some of your family members. This is when you start cutting some of these family members out of your life. It happens. You're going to be placing boundaries. You're going to be scaling back your energy and focusing it on you. All this works together. You're going to be placing boundaries, not being a people pleaser, and all that kind of stuff. And then you're going to be able to start seeing them spirits act the damn fool when you start doing that. Well, why I can't do that no more? These entitled spirits through these people that you've been feeding, people pleasing, and all this kind of stuff. It's going to be some family members and all that stuff. Okay? Don't be alarmed. Ask them, why are you getting mad? Because I don't want to do that. I'm trying to heal myself. Bring it to them like that. You're going to see these spirits come through these people. And some of these people you're going to have to cut off because they're going to demand and feel entitled to your energy. They're going to be mad at you because you don't want to do, because they can't control you no more. This is how it's going to show up. This is what I tell a lot of people, if you're coming to me and you're really doing shadow work and you getting along with everybody liking you after you're doing the healing work, I'm not convinced. Some people should be being pissed off at you right now. You should be some villain because you're scaling back your energy. You're not letting people, use you, misuse you, deceive you, and manipulate you anymore. So people going to be pissed off at you. If everything going right in that healing journey, because it ain't pretty, and you saying everybody love you, you get along with everybody, and something ain't right. Okay, something ain't right. Now I got to get the prime. What you doing? Are you doing the work? Are you still with them same behaviors? Okay, are you still with them same behaviors of what's going on? Because again, when you start doing the energy work, you're going to be cutting some of these spirits off that's been feeding off you. Okay, I don't know anyone. Usually, when people start to heal and things, they start to see this. Okay, uh, and you also too, you'll have people as well. I'm not gonna get into them. Probably not gonna get into that. Let me go into the book. So the name of the book, if you are interested in this book, the name of the book is Hoodoo Cleansing and Protection. That is the name of this book. So before we do anything, go to this book, because this book also has um has resources in here for domestic violence, for addiction, and things like that, because this is how these spirits operate in people. It don't gonna always be no ooh ghosts and all that kind of stuff. Okay. This resource also tells you, and I'm gonna say this: Mercury retrograde is not a good time to be doing spells because it deals with communication. And so, this book also lets you know, hey, this is not a good time to do any work if this is happening during a retrograde, because it can affect your work. Okay, you can do that since Mercury deals with communication. I'm trying to see if there's anything else. But in this resource, in this book, you have a variety of workings in here. You know, she is talking about conditions oil, conjure oils, baths, meditation, dealing with your homes, the blessings, the cleansing. Now, before I move on to this other book, our other book review, if you're in our community and you have this Hoodoo cleansing book, we also have a book called Hoodoo Justice Magic. I think these books should be paired up hand in hand, because in Hoodoo Justice Magic, they're going in to uh, helping you addressing these negative energies and how to protect yourself and how to do the workings and when to do the workings. Is this book by Miss Ida? Yes, it is. This book, both of them by Miss Ida. Hoodoo Justice Magic and Hoodoo Cleansing and Protection. I think these should go hand in hand. Okay, and we've already went over Hoodoo Justice Magic. You should be able to have it there. Maybe you already have it in your library. Okay, but these books go hand in hand. And even when you go into the Hoodoo Justice Magic, they'll go to right in talking about these social paths and crazy people. Okay, and two, when you're doing any type of magic like that, especially if you're getting ready to get justice, you need to be emotionally balanced when you're doing this kind of work. You cannot be led by anger. Okay, you need to go in with a perfect. Now you're going in and be conscious that you have the anger, but direct the anger in the work. Don't do it out of anger. Okay, when you get in the work, you can let the anger again when you start talking, because you're gonna verbalize this to your spirits. That's when you release that energy, because that's what moves the work. You telling the spirits how they harm you and all that stuff, because your spirits are going to move from your emotions. So you save that to move your work and plead your case to these spirits when you get ready to get some justice on these people. That's how that works. You got some people, they hexing people just because they don't like them or they annoy them and all this kind of stuff. You're gonna mess yourself up doing stuff like that. Okay? But I think these books should be paired. Excuse me, you guys. These books should be paired up if you're gonna be using these books. Okay, I think they go well together. And again, when you go into the Hoodoo Justice Magic, they're gonna again talk about the narcissists, the sociopaths, and how to deal with them and how to cleanse yourself. If you're doing any hexing work, work like that, cleanse yourself before after you do that work, before and after. You're definitely gonna need some hissing. And you'll be going into Psalms 57. I think I forgot this 57 and 9, 51 and 7. I got it in my I got it somewhere around here, but it mentions it in the book as well. Okay, so if you follow those guidelines, you will get results. And I know what you've seen out here. People out here doing raggedy stuff. They get mad and they go back and forth with each other. Really pay attention to these people that's doing this. And if that, you could tell if it's a real practitioner, because the other practitioner is going to be calm. They might not even say nothing, but they know exactly what to do with that spirit inside that person. They probably not even engaging and saying anything. That's the practitioner that know everything, not the one that sit up there want to argue and go back and forth. They don't know nothing. The practitioners that's not saying anything, they know exactly what to do and how to do it. They know what they're looking at. Okay, not the one that's going back and forth and but the one that has the most emotional regulation is probably going to be the most powerful worker. And they know what they're doing. And that person that's antagonizing probably need to be quiet. Because if you're not careful, if you're engaging in that, going that back and forth, these spirits have a chance they can feed off you. Okay. So, I hear a lot of people, I match their energy. No, you better not. You better not be matching their energy. You better get somewhere and sit down and be quiet. Why would you do that? Don't match nobody energy. Don't engage with them. When you know they ragged and they trying to get you to be ragged and stuff, get somewhere and walk away from them people. Go to the altar, tell your ancestors what's going on. Because see, now you're in spiritual warfare. So you need to be talking to your spiritual court, your spiritual guides. You could keep yourself covered. So when you ready to do the work, you can do it successfully. Okay? Is this making sense to anyone before I move on? Because this is the most important thing you can learn in your hoodoo journey. Hoodoo cleansing, protection, and psychic defense. People do a grave work in my culture. We're not talking about that right now. We're talking about protection. Do they do protection? What type of protection they do in your culture? That's what we're talking about right now. We're talking about protection. You want to share that? Please put that in the comments. Okay. All right. So anyone did not fully understand that, let me know. Anyone want to try them out? Hoodoo protection and cleansing magic book. Uh-huh. And then they got the Hoodoo magic book. That's right, Raquel. Mm-hmm. Yep. Okay. So I want to make sure you guys, if you're new in our community, do that first. Please, beloved, please do that first. Don't do anything without doing that first. Okay? Do that first. Nothing is more important. Don't pick up no magic. Don't be trying to do no hoodoo because many of the times, probably that's what you need. When we start doing that kind of work, you'll start finding out. It'll start clearing things out for you. You'll be like, damn, I didn't even, that's what was wrong. Sometimes that be what's wrong. Okay? Can you work with angels for protection? Yep. You just talked about Saint Michael, Archangel Michael. You can work with Michael for protection. And of course, if you're in our community, you get a whole book. I'm very thorough with that because when you start, because in Hoodoo, we work with tables, we set up altars, we set up friendships and communication with spirits. Now, you're going to see it done differently in the cult because they like to command and demand spirits. That's what these Westerners do. God, I don't like that for them. And this is their hang up. This is what, why they can't work with a lot of these spirits because they operate. These spirits are not your slave. You got to get that mentality out your head. Because some of them try to treat the spirits like they slave, honey. But over here in Hoodoo, our ancestors have perfected spiritualism. We just know how to talk to spirits. Isn't that a beautiful thing that your ancestors left with you? They're going to teach you mediumship and they're going to teach you how to talk to spirits. They've taught us how to make friends with spirits by our relationship with them. So we set up tables, we put beautiful things out for these spirits. We invite them there. We put offerings there. We go there to petition them, and we keep this up until we start getting some type of feedback from that spirit. Okay? Exactly my thought. What I look like telling them what to do. Yeah. Okay? They know what to do. All right, so we petition them. So if you wanted to work with Archangel Michael, we give you all that information. What is his day? What are the times he come on during the day? What is his colors? What is his metal? What is his stone? What is his herbs that he's like? What is his favorite flowers? We go everything. We just look through everything, and of course, you can get a lot of this information through Catholicism and the Latinos because they never stop conjuring. I have to keep saying this. They do the same thing in the Catholic Church. They're conjuring in there. I got to say that to you. They never stop conjuring. So you're not doing anything that they not doing in the Catholic Church. Same thing. Okay. We work with saints. This part of hoodoo, a lot of people don't talk about it, but I have to tell you that because I don't know anyone that is working magic that's not working with a spirit. Point me to a person that's not working with a spirit. Any person that is casting spells and things like that, they are working with a spirit. That's why I have to tell you, is this really magic though? Okay. So again, setting up your tables, getting to know these archangels, getting to know the saints, and being led by your ancestors is going to be very important when it comes to this work. Get that together first before you start trying to do spell work, and ask them, because usually you don't have to do that. Just because somebody's showing that doesn't mean that that's what your ancestors have for you. You probably just simply need to heal. You probably just got a block that's blocking up something. And then when you start doing this, everything start to flowing right. But when you try to do magic and avoid doing the work, you can possibly cross yourself up. Or, it's just not going to work. And you're going to be looking around like, why this ain't working? Because somebody teaching you a spell and they're not teaching you to practice. That's the problem. Some of that be the hang up. Those occultists try to train spirits like dolls and make friends. Yes, that's what they do. Okay. And what happens is a lot of these occultists, uh, that's why a lot of them like doing high magic, and most of them in there, they're working with egregores. Now you got some of them that would stir away and they go into planetary magic and do high magic that way. But their goal, and if you're reading these things about the occultists, they're not doing money work. No, they're coming, they're asking spirits with creativity, inspiration, and ideas how to create their abundance. See, you going to spirits asking for money. No, 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 no. They're more they're more interested in showing you creative ideas, giving you inspirations that open you up to create your own abundance. That's how that works. You're not going to see that in occult books. These you're not going to see that in there. That's not about that. Most of the most renowned occultists, and some of them, they're into technology. They have these big business. They're there because a spirit gave them an idea about a business. They didn't give them the money. The spirit helped them perfect the things within themselves to help them create the idea. That's how that works. And you'll know when they're coming through again because your mind will be filled of so many creative ideas. I've had people. There was a young lady. We were vendoring together, and she crocheted. And I started noticing that too when I used to start making jewelry. When I start making jewelry, and I'm sure other artists do it as well. But she said she would start dreaming about patterns and stuff. She would wake up, she would dream about a pattern to crochet, and she'd get up and create stuff new every day. This how these spirits work. She'll wake up, she'll dream about stuff. And I have did that. Went to sleep and dreamed about making a necklace or something, and then come up with a new idea how to make something. Okay, this how these spirits work. You think they're going to be giving you money. This is the wrong way to think. We should be going to them to help, saying, hey, please help us with creative ideas to tap into our talents and gifts to create abundance for ourselves. Please help me to master myself to be able to see the abundance and prosperity and richness in myself. Please help me to manifest this in a 3D reality that will help me take care of myself. That's how that should be phrased. Okay, they're more interested in that. Now, can they, is there some that that help you with money. Yeah, they can help you with money, but don't think you're gonna get rich because these spirits more interested in your growth and development. And that has money has nothing to do with your growth and development. You got some people that's rich is I don't know what and they crazy. You seeing it for yourself, be crazy as I don't know what. Be raggedy, honey, they be so raggedy, but they rich. So rich don't always mean happy. Okay. And rich, wealth comes in so many different forms. Okay. Now, just because you rich, you got some, and we're gonna go into that now. Let me move on because uh, we're gonna talk about pacts with spirit too when we go into that kind of stuff when we start working with spirits. But we're gonna go into that. So again, let me go into the bathing part before we go into spirits and how you could possibly do that. But you're gonna be making a pact with a spirit, and if that's something you want to do, okay, you got to be careful about that too. So again, when we're bathing, we're and we're taking spiritual baths. We're doing this to maintain our energy and bring our energy into a homeostasis state. Okay, these baths promote health, well-being, and healing, and they help us shift. Okay, uh, root workers and hoodoos and conjurers of all varieties have long looked to the healing supernatural qualities of spiritual baths to improve the quality of life, to influence self, others, conditions, and environments across the globe. Cultures share the same belief regarding the sanctity of natural bodies of water, waterfalls, and rainfall. Okay, there's two methods of taking a spiritual bath. You can pour it over you, or you can sit in it. Okay, still have the same effect. It doesn't matter. Always bless your water before you even start using that bath. We need to be talking to that water. We need to be setting intentions in the water and herbs and things before we even use it. Don't skip this part. Okay? Again, pray over it. Set your intentions over it before you even start doing the bath. Okay? Now, if you're working with a saint or Risha, whatever, this is the time to invoke them and to help you with um, praying over that bath, to putting intentions in the bath, whether you're pouring it in your over your head or you're getting into it. Pray over it, set intentions over it. Okay. Now, a lot of people, I was hear a lot of people talk about this. Now, if you're in the bathtub and you're doing things to draw things to you, such as love, success, luck, healing, you're trying to draw something near you, you need to go up. You need to wash up. If you're taking a bath, if this you have this option, draw again, wash up, don't wash down. Okay, that's what we're doing because we want things to draw. We want to draw things in and say your prayers or what are your intentions as you're washing up. Because what we're doing is we're drawing things to us. This is what we do in hoodoo. If we want something away from us, we fold it away from us. If we want something to come near us, we bring it towards us. Same thing applies in the bath. Okay? If you know you doing some uncrossing work, which I expected you be doing if you just got in hoodoo, because our mouth be raggedy sometimes. We don't know the power of our words and emotions. Boy, I find myself having to do it sometime too. Your bath should be popping all the time. Okay. So if you're doing uncrossing work or you're trying to rid yourself of negativity, we wash down because we want it away from us. Okay. We want it away from us. So we wash down and we speak those intentions as we remove the things from us. Okay. You probably wanted, I do recommend doing a lot of head washing during this time as well. You might find yourself doing a lot of head washing if you're staying confused or if you're a foggy all the time. You probably want to be doing some head washing and some shadow work. All of this works together. So I have to come here and speak to you like that about it. Okay? And then you can do your baths during the same certain time of the month. If you know you're trying to remove something from you, you can do it during a waning moon. If you know that you're trying to draw something, so you can go so many ways with these baths. If you know that you're trying to bring something in, that you can do it while the moon is waxing. If you're trying to draw something to you, and the waxing moon is 3 days before the full moon, while the moon is waxing, going in its fullness. So if you're trying to bring something near you during that time, that is the best time to do the bath. And hoodoo works better in layers. So if you're doing the bath, what other work are you doing to ensure that you have success in the work? Okay. And then the disposal of the bath. Some people, they will take a little water and use it in their workings. I have done that, especially if I'm doing a success bath and trying to draw something to me. Then I'm gonna use a little of that bath water to cleanse my candles, to lay little tricks or whatever. So you can use your bath water too, the remnants of it to use in your work, or you can do a return to sender, especially if somebody has sent something towards you and you've done a bath to remove it off them and you know who did it. You can send it back by taking some of that water and pointing it at their doorstep or spraying it on a knob where they can get it back on them. Did you know that? I just dropped a gem on you. Okay, so again, just follow your intuition and ask your ancestors how they want you to dispose of. Some people take it to a crossroads too. But ask your ancestors how they will let you want to proceed with disposal. And you did, baby. I had to get my notebook, honey. Okay, okay. So if you know somebody you're doing a return to sender. See, who do work better in layers? If you know somebody did some nigga and you know who did it, go ahead and take that bath. You know who it is. You want to give it back to them. Pour it in a bottle and put it at their front door. Relay a trick so they step in it. Okay. Spray it on the knob so they get it back. Okay. So that's some powerful return to sender work if that's something that you want to consider. Okay. So now we're going to go into, now we've covered spiritual baths. We have covered hoodoo cleansing. Is anybody you have any before we move on to spirit work, the spirit primer book? Because this is my second time posting it again for you guys. Did anyone have any questions about the cleansing, the protection, or bathing before we moved on? And in this book, the book that you have up here, it's 105 baths in this book. And she covers everything from the ocean bath, protection bath. I mean, and she covers it all in this book. So this is a great resource for your bath. If you're trying to construct a bath and put a bath together, you want to, a template for that, and this is a great book for it. And the name of this book is called Crossroads Mama's 105 Spiritual Baths for Every Occasion. Okay, and you have this book in our community, and I recommend you get in there because these baths gonna be your friend, and you get a chance to really work with the element of water. In your first beginning journey in hoodoo, you'll be working a lot with water. Might as well get a chance to know it, sit with it. Okay. Yes, what's the difference between pouring and versus sitting in the bath? It's no different. You have some people that they don't have baths. Okay, they don't have bathtubs. So in some countries they have to pour the bath over their head. And if you do have a bath tub, then that's when I'm helping you to take advantage of being able to sit, to pull in or move away. Okay, it's really no difference. Because I mean, we have some people that don't have a bath, and you have some of them that go straight to the ocean and do their work that way, or they go straight to the river and they do their bathing that way. I think it's powerful if you can go to the ocean or the river. Now I've been known since I've been here, I go to the ocean and I'll get water from the ocean and put in my spiritual bath because I don't have a bath here, so I have to dump it over my head. So I found it to me how my ancestors led me. They told me to get some of that ocean water and use it because I'm not too far from the beach. I'm maybe 5 or 10 minutes from the beach. Okay, so I'll go in there and I'll go to the beach and I'll just fill it up and bring that water home. And then when I start making a mixture, I'll mix that in there with my cleansing. That's how my ancestors guide me. It's so many ways to do this work. Okay, you don't have to do it the way somebody, whatever the way your ancestors set it up for you to do it that way. Okay, rainwater is a good way for cleansing as well. If you can get rainwater, that's a good cleanser. Head wash, can you go over that? Okay, head washing. Now, the head washing is going to be good if you know you having negative thoughts or your spiritual communication is cloudy. Uh, you're having racing thoughts, like your thoughts will not slow down. Start doing things to cool your head. I like using coconut milk and jasmine. You can also use hyssop as well. You know, go to where, let your ancestors lead you what they want you to use to cleanse your head if you're doing the work. Follow your intuition. But this is when you start covering your head. And you also, too, you'll find yourself covering your head if you've been doing the work and your psych abilities is heightened. Now your crown chakra is open. Okay, it's not your fault. It's just becoming active now. And we want that. But now is the time to start covering your head. I don't recommend that you start going being around a whole bunch of people because you're gonna be picking up people's stuff. It's not your fault. Okay, until you get control of that, and some people in the ATRs they recommend for at least a year, don't be around a whole bunch of people going to clubs and stuff like that. You don't be around these people. Okay. Not blaming you, but now you're more sensitive. So you're gonna have to be more aware of your energy and how you take care of yourself. Can't go those places anymore. You're not like regular people, so stop thinking that you're like everybody else and you're just not. A lot of people are asleep. Are you asleep? No. So you can't go in those places anymore. You can't expose your energy like that anymore. You have to be, and if you are, you got to keep yourself covered and know when to exit. Okay, jasmine, coconut milk, or coconut water. Yep, you can use coconut water too. Okay. So those are the times we cover our head, especially when you start doing a lot of shadow work, dispelling a lot of those negative energies and negative thoughts and ruminating negative thoughts. Again, you're going to start covering your head. And you'll feel a lot better too, have more control. You'll feel like you have more control over your thoughts when you do it. Try it and tell me your results. I work in the office and it's been hard on me lately. They suck my energy, my money, been messed up since honey, I go right in there with some Florida water. They don't know. It'll look like it's in a hand in a sanitizer bottle. I go right in there and start wiping my whole desk around and start putting crystals and stuff around my stuff. I don't care. And another thing how I reserve my energy. And a lot of people I had one friend, will you single yourself out? No, I don't fraternize with these people. I come there to make money. And I know these spirits jumping in and out of y'all. Okay. I go to have lunch break by myself. I don't engage in uh the work politics. And some of them they don't like you for that. Them spirits get mad at you when you don't get into they look group crap. Okay. But the better you can reserve your energy and separate yourself, the better you can have, the more control you can have over your energy. Because the only way they can get pull you in there is they're getting you pulled into their group crap, the gossip and all this stuff. That's jump, but you know when they try to gossip with me about something with somebody, I said, I wonder what happened to me. Please don't talk about them. Pray for them. See, they get away from you. Start talking like that. I wonder what happened to them. They need that. We need to pray for them and not talk about them. See, they get away from you when you do stuff like that. Okay, they think they really bringing you into some gossip, and here you is. Hmm. I wonder what happened to them. I'm not interested in gossiping with you. I wonder what happened to them. I'm gonna pray for them because something happened to them. Ain't her fault. I don't know. Ain't they fault? Something happened to them. They hurry up and get away from you then. Oh, we can't get her under there. We can't get the no. You're not. You're not pulling me into that stinky, icky crap with you. You're doing that by yourself. So every time you come over here and think you're gonna talk about somebody, let's not talk about them. Something happened to them. I wonder why they were like that. Let's pray for them. Okay? And before you know it, the rumor around the job, don't talk to her because she don't gossip. You can't get her into stuff. She mind her business. She like praying for people. Okay? She can't get her into nothing because she minds her own business. Okay? I cleanse with the blue anneal too. Is that blue bluing that you use? I think that's what you're talking about. So that's how you can avoid that work stuff. Every time they come to you with their gossip, I wonder what happened to them. I don't think we need to be talking about them. Something happened to them. I think we need to be praying for them people because I don't know what happened to them. Now I know their behavior ain't all that, but it makes me wonder what happened to them. They're gonna look at you crazy and get the hell away from you. Okay? Because they know they can't pull you into the crowd. And you keep yourself clean. We want to keep ourselves clean in this hoodoo. So when we go to our table, we ain't raggedy. We ain't been tainted with none of that crap, they black magic, or none of that stuff they got going on. Okay? You're gonna have to learn how to hold your own and be different. Because this is everybody has normalized this type of behavior. And you got to, it's important for you not to get pulled up in there and taint yourself because hoodoo is a way of life. And if you taint it with some of this stuff and try to go to your altar, ain't nothing gonna move for you because you done been over there participating in crap. And you know that's some crap. Trying to fit in with them people. Okay, stop trying to fit in with them people. You're not like them people. So stop trying to be like them. You are very different. You are aware. The more you try to fit in, you ain't hurt nobody but yourself. And I know it's hard. You on these jobs and they have normalized all this crazy stuff. I don't like that for you. I know what you got to deal with it. And you probably saying, Miss Penny, it's so hard. Yes, baby, I know. I had to work in it too. I even had some coworkers getting mad at me because I wouldn't, get in their little group thing. I'm not interested in that. Okay. I respect all y'all. And if you need me for spiritual support and you having a bad day, yeah, I'm gonna be there for you or whatever. I'm gonna support you. But I'm not interested in this groupie stuff. Okay. It's not healthy. You're not, I'm not interested in what you're interested in. I'm just not. Okay. They usually can feel they know business having proximity to you. We have to be disciplined in keeping that anointing distance. Yes. Okay. So stop trying to fit in with people. You are different. And will they be able to tell that? Yeah. I'm telling you, when you do this, you gain more respect from your coworkers. They're not gonna tell you that. But every time something go wrong with them, they're gonna be coming to you for some type of counsel, from some type of prayer. Believe me, they're gonna respect you for doing it. You gain more trust like that than getting in with them. Because they're gonna know if something go on, they're gonna know you didn't do it and you didn't say it. Okay, they're gonna know right off the back. I know she didn't do that because she don't talk to nobody. She don't say nothing about that woman. Mind her business. Only thing she do is help somebody if they need some help, if she can help them. Okay, so you stay out of that. I know you want to be like them and part of the thing. No, you are light to them. You don't get in there with them. You are separate. You separate yourself from that. Okay, you are different. So to stop trying, you're gonna mess yourself up trying to be like them folks. Okay, you're not better than them. You're just more aware than them. Okay, and you're not gonna jeopardize your ashay and your magic with the crap. Okay, that's what this is. That's why I'm telling you this. You live in a different reality than they live in. The work you do is very different from the work they do. You got to get this in your head. You got to understand this. I need you to understand that. Okay, this is a different walk. Will you be peculiar to them? Yeah, they'll be peculiar, but you'll have more respect because you're gonna show the discipline. They're gonna see that. They may not tell you that, but believe me, you'll get caught up in less stuff when you set that boundary with yourself. Because when something pop off, they're gonna know she didn't have nothing to do with, because that she mind her own business. She don't get pulled into that anything. Honey, this woman be praying for people. I don't know if she a Christian or not, but that's something that woman talk about, is praying for somebody. Okay. That woman mind her own business. That woman go to her car. She say her prayers. You can be saying affirmations or whatever else, but they gonna know you gonna be minding your own business. Okay, you don't get it because you're gonna set that boundary with them right off the top, and that's how you should move. Sometimes we be seeing hoodoo practitioners and we don't know them. You don't even know that's a practitioner. There's something peculiar about it. They never said it, and sometimes some of them are mistaken for Christians. Okay, but you don't get yourself into that. Okay, make sure you're taking care of yourself and keeping your energy clean. I see why you always say stress hoodoo will save your life. It's major lifestyle changes, especially how you deal or not deal with certain people. You sure is. You deal with people totally different. Okay, especially when you come aware and you see how these spirits be using these people. And sometimes they don't know. They used to make me mad. Sometimes it used to get me because I'd be like, they would get me every time until I start slowing down and say, wait a minute, why did they do that? You know, I had to really start slowing down and start asking, why did they do that? And I think when I started doing that, a lot of the reaction from me stopped. Okay. And sometimes these people don't know why they're doing it. And then understanding too, these spirits are hopping from people to people. And some of them are willing to work with these spirits. Some of them are unaware of it. But you have some people, they know exactly what they're working with, and they want to be raggedy like that, and you have to let them be raggedy. Okay. Okay. So now we're gonna go in. Anything about baths before we move on? Now, if you're in our community, you get this that the full book. Uh, Crossroads, what was it? Crossroad Mama, 105 spiritual baths for every occasion. You get that book. You also get the Hoodoo Cleansing and Protection book. You should already have the Hoodoo Justice book. And I'll probably post it again sometime next year. But yeah, you have that already. Okay. Those are the things. If you're new in our community, those are the things that's going to be very powerful work, and that's going to put you in alignment. Okay, so those are the things you should be starting off with first, is the bathing, protection, the healing work, and working with your most elevated ancestors. Believe me, that is a lot of work. You're gonna move a When you do that work, you find yourself not having to do the spells you thought you had to do. I'm telling you now, I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm not gonna put no fluff on here. Okay, you'll find yourself, you won't be, because you done got in line, you to start healing, and that was the problem. That's why I don't recommend people showing you spells, because that may not be the issue. You could just be simply out of alignment. You could simply not been shifting out this negative energy and doing shadow work, and you can stay stuck somewhere. I don't know, what is the elevated ancestors? What does elevated mean? What does elevated mean, Najivor? What does that mean? When something is elevated, what does that mean? If it's elevated, what does that mean? Ah, okay. Higher up ancestors. Those ancestors we want. You just answered your own question. Higher up, the most holiest ancestors, the holy of holiest. That's why we're calling them. Now you'll see in the ATRs called the Egungun of the Baluka. And in Hoodoo, we call them the most elevated ancestors, the holiest of holiest. That's who we call on. The most healed, elevated and holiest ancestors. When we say elevated ancestors, that's what we mean. Okay. I noticed that practitioners recognize other practitioners no matter what the environment is. Classic saying of takes one to know one. Yeah, you can pretty much tell, if you're paying attention. And sometimes people be sitting, you could be standing next to a hoodoo practitioner and never know it. The most powerful ones has been the most unseemly people that have gotten me. I'm like, oh my God, I would have never put that together with you. And they be some real practitioners that you just never would have thought, you guys, that you just never would have thought that was into that. They don't have any aesthetics on. They look like normal people. You just wouldn't have put it together. Okay, you already know. Okay. You know what it is. Okay, you answered your own question. Okay, so let's go on. Ascended, yes, the most ascended ones. Okay. So now we're gonna go into spirit work primer, a beginners to streamline spirit work. Is there a significance to an ancestor's transitioning over on the 21st winter solstice in the past? I don't know. Don't know. Might be. That sounds like some homework to do right there. Okay, you probably want to do your homework on that. Okay, so we're going into spirit work. The primary. This is a great book if you are really because it gets straight to the point on how to work with spirits and how to work with your altar when it comes to your ancestors. This book is good for that. Excuse me. However, when you go to the end of the book, the back of the book, I don't want you working with any of those spirits in this book. You have the book, but I do not recommend you work with it. The reason why we're looking at this book, because this book is a great book to help you work with your ancestors and to help you with developing your altar work with your ancestors. That's why we're looking at this book and to help you understand the relationships we have with some of these spirits. I'm going to be absolutely clear, okay? I don't want you going in the back of that book because we don't know them spirits. Okay, and he's giving you sigils and all that stuff to work with spirits. That's not where we're looking at this book. I'm gonna say this again. We're not looking at this book to work with the spirits in the book that they have suggested. We're looking in this book to see our relationship with our ancestors and how to set up an ancestor altar, and to develop a relationship with them. This book is great for that. Okay, do not mess with them spirits in the back of that book. I don't know what that is. Okay, but I had to show you the book because it has good resources in here with communicating with spirits and helping you understand how these spirits work. Okay, that's why we're looking at the book. Okay, everybody, we're clear on that. We're clear on that. Okay, so when we start looking at the spirit, one must realize that there are many branches and paths to magic, and again, all of them working with spirit. They all break down into general categories. The first of the something I have come to refer to as direct work, which is in the terms of to magic that involves creation of oils, talisman. He's basically talking about hoodoo. Okay, creation oils, powders, talismans, and so on. Direct work often requires the magician to be hands-on with the item and to plant that item on the target. That's hoodoo. Okay, that's what they're talking about there when he's talking about that. Now you're seeing in here, he said the magician work with spirit. That's why I tell you, nobody is practicing magic without working with no spirit. That's why I don't appreciate people coming up here showing you spells. Because they're not working that by themselves. If they know what they're doing, they're not doing that by themselves. They working if they wise and they know what they doing. They're working with an ancestor. They working with a spirit. They ain't working by themselves. Okay, that's why I don't recommend anyone start showing you stuff. It's spirit work prime for beginners. I got Streamlined Spirit Work. Thank you, Seeker of Love, for putting that in the chat. Okay. So again, you're gonna work with a spirit, like Miss Penny told you. I don't know anyone. Point me to someone who is doing root work, conjure, or magic. Any practitioner, a witch, a shaman. Point me to them. Show me somebody who ain't working with a spirit over here, because that's what we doing. And if you scared to work with spirits, don't come over here, because we work with spirits over here. We do. And I know y'all don't like the words. We do necromancy over here. We do sorcery over here. That's what we do. I'm gonna give it to you in the real thick so you can get that on out the way. Okay? So when you get over there and you say, "Oh my God, Miss Penny, you teaching us necromancy and sorcery," I sure am. Because your ancestors were sorcery and necromancy masters. So why wouldn't I teach you that? This what you're born with. That's your birthright. And the sooner I can tell you, the better you can accept it. Okay? Now that's not what our ancestors call it. That's what these colonizers call it. Before you, but to get you understanding, that's what I have to call it. Okay? Oh yeah, I'm gonna give you that over there. So don't get shocked. Okay? Because you're gonna be talking to spirits. Okay? You're gonna come to understand this physical reality ain't real. Okay, can't be trusting no people. I got to get you to trusting your ancestors and trusting your intuition, because some of these people out here raggedy. Now, is they doing it on purpose? I don't think they're doing it on purpose. I'm not blaming nobody. But the thing is to get you trusting yourself so you can take your power back. I need you to have your power in your hand, know what you're doing, and be confident in what you're doing. That's what I'm there for. Okay? So I don't know anyone that is doing magic. I'm gonna repeat this again for you people that love putting glitter and stuff on. For you people that love putting glitter and stuff on stuff and watching stuff, I don't know anyone that's doing magic without a spirit. That's just the bottom line, you guys. So when somebody's showing you something on there, now that you know this, if you want to really inquire more about what they showing you, ask them, what spirit are you working with? You showed me this, but what spirit are you working with to get this done? More than likely, they ain't gonna tell you that part, because that's the core of the work. If they're a wise practitioner, they know what they're doing, they ain't gonna tell you that. They ain't gonna show you that spell. But you best believe they working with some type of spirit. I assure you of this. Okay? So that's the next time somebody come to asking you, showing you some, you go ahead and inquire more, because they're not telling you everything. You're not seeing everything that goes on the background, because there's work that's going on with another spirit. It's something else they got going on. So if you ask them, you see some, ask them what spirit they're working with. What spirit help you do this work? Okay, they're working with a spirit. Something, a spirit is guiding them on the work, whether it be an angel, an ancestor, or a deity. Believe me, they are not doing this work alone. It could even just be elemental spirits that's helping them in the work. Because a lot of root workers, that's what we're using. We're using elemental spirits when we do work. If you're just doing this work with your ancestors, that's what you're doing. You're using elemental magic. Hence why I ask them other folk that claim they do what we do, well, who are you working with? What ancestors? What spirit? You got to ask people that. Because I don't know anyone that's doing magic without working for a spirit. And you're going to see it stated in these books like this over and over again. Okay? That's why you do need to read some materials so you can understand the components of magic. Okay? You do need to read some materials and start educating yourself on that. And I noticed that some of these practitioners, they don't want you opening up no book. I wonder why. Some don't want you opening up no book. They don't want you to know this. Okay? I've even, you know, I had even been in a course, a hoodoo course, and I knew right off the bat that this practitioner didn't know what she was talking about because she never addressed hoodoo. She just kept talking about the occult. She never addressed the hoodoo part of it. And so when I started again, because this practitioner, she was confident in everybody in that class not knowing anything. And then when I start expanding on the subject, that's when she told me that I need to be in a more advanced class. Then I got in the advanced class. It was the same as the beginner's class. So what are you advancing me to? Let's answer these questions that I just asked you. Oh my God, don't put me in no advanced class. Okay? I need you to answer these questions. You say you know what you're doing, you know how to teach this. Answer my question. Okay? And it seemed like that, she got mad because she thought I was trying to take over your class. No, I'm not trying to take over your class. I'm trying to find out what this is. I need you to explain this to me. And you're not. Okay? Uh-huh. They know many are too lazy to read, hence why the best info is there. Okay? And I can tell, my practitioners that is doing the reading. I know when you're doing the work because you're gonna come to me telling me stuff. Uh-huh. You're gonna be telling me what you're doing. Okay? Or you're gonna tell me what you're doing, Miss Penny. Is you got this in here? Uh-huh, and I'm gonna give it to you. Now when you go to ask me questions about protection, about working with spirits or ancestors, you got to ask me questions like this, and I know we thoroughly covered this, and you have a whole bunch of resources. I know you ain't reading. I know you're again, and I don't think you're doing it on purpose. Again, we have to get rid of these parasitic behaviors of asking people things and not want to look them up for ourselves. It's really parasitic. I've seen people do it, got a computer right there in front of them. And instead of doing the research and looking through materials themselves and expanding their own consciousness, you want to tap into somebody's own stuff and try to get the answers instead of finding them for yourself. So you're going to cross yourself up like that because you're going to keep asking people and get a wrong answer. I want you to know. So I will tell you and I will put a book in front of your face so you will see it for yourself. Okay? I don't want you getting crossed up. I want you to be confident. You should be confident in your work and what you're doing. We don't want to rely on other people for our answers. This is not church. This don't function like church. Okay? You actually have to be accountable for educating yourself and doing the work, the inner alchemy to change yourself. You have to stop those behaviors because you'll start to see it over here too. When it's time to do the work, you be in your own way. You thinking you've been blaming this stuff on other people, but it's you that won't sit down and be quiet and talk to your ancestors. You want to be running your mouth all the time and think and following other people and stuff like that, and then blame when stuff don't go right. You blame it on somebody else. But if you just set your butt down and start listening to your ancestors, you'd have made a lot further. The test come to time because I know who doing, I know who doing the work. Because you're gonna come up with some you're gonna see it for yourself. You're gonna have all those resources over there, and you're gonna be having a time trying to make time to do the work. Don't rely on other people to give you answers. This is not church. This is a powerful message, okay? Because these people been giving us the wrong answers all the time, misinterpreting stuff to us, and honey, it just got us all mixed up. Okay, I'm gonna give you the right information, but I also want you to be confident. You got to get out of that, asking people, for simple stuff that I know the resources are there. There's no reason why you shouldn't know it because I know I've given it to you because I know it's important. So it's no reason why you should know that. That's why we just went over to Ancestors again, Badass Ancestors. That was a great book too, guys. You guys. You got so many books on ancestors, it ain't even funny over there. And you can build a strong hoodoo ancestor veneration practice alone just over there because of all the books we have on ancestors. It's no excuse because sometimes I have people come to me, they're doing everything else and don't have an ancestor altar or no ancestor veneration. I'm like, why you don't have that? Well, I wasn't sure. What do you mean you wasn't sure? We got over probably a dozen books over there on ancestor veneration. And every book that we cover on Hoodoo talks about ancestor veneration. So I'm not understanding why you skipping that. Why you think you what is going on there? You're messing yourself up. That's what you're doing. If you're scared of Hoodoo, get out of this because you ain't gonna make it far. What was the name of the book for the ancestor? Badass Ancestors. That's the most recent book that the community has gotten is the Badass Ancestor. But the book that we're going over now is Streamlined Spirit Work. So again, you're gonna be working with a spirit no matter what. Okay. Then you have people that directly conjure. They don't work. They don't do any root work. They don't do any of that. They're not interested in working with elementals. They go right to conjuring. There's people that just work with spirits. You'll see that in the Freemasonry. They don't really do any elemental magic. They do more of high magic. They do ceremonial magic with these spirits. You have some people go straight to conjuring with spirits. This is when you have to be more careful with your work. Because again, most times if you go to straight conjuring with spirits, you're ready because most of that's going to happen. Depending on what you got going on, these most of these spirits going to work in contracts and agreements. Yeah, contracts, agreements, and pacts. That's what you're going to see go on there when you go into conjuring. Okay. So whether they're going to be working, let me go over here and switch gears into my notes over here. So most of those spirits, when you do that, you can go straight into conjuring. Now I don't recommend this. I don't recommend going straight into conjuring. I think it steps to that. Okay? Especially when you don't know a lot about spirits. And when we get together with our ancestors and doing root work, we get a chance to know more about spirits. And if you get into conjuring real quick, it's easy because of the wording. Some of these spirits, especially when you go into some of these goetic spirits, some that they may be categorized as demon, they work like attorneys sometimes. They can be word tricky. And for you know it, you done got yourself in a pickle with a spirit because you didn't understand the language that they were using in the contract. Yeah, yeah. Okay. So you need to understand that. You need to understand that. Another thing I like about this book is it talked about light and dark spirits are not equated with good and evil. You're going to see that in this book. So in this book, when they're talking about light and dark spirits, they're talking about hot and cold spirits. The spirits, the more cool, really want you working with cool spirits. Okay, which is archangels, saints, your ancestors. Those are the spirits you kind of want to stay near, especially if you're doing that's different. Malevolent spirits, that's different. Malevolent spirits with what we just covered with these parasites and stuff. These are malevolent spirits that feed off energy. The malevolent spirits are the parasite, the narcissist, and all that stuff. Them malevolent spirits. I know it's crazy. You think the demon is the malevolent spirit. No. It's the spirits that's drawing off your energy. And they, and I can see why you would think that, because they don't really manifest themselves that much. And they do it through people, but yeah, them the malevolent spirits, I know it's shocking to see it like that, but they are. Okay. So when you're looking at again, when they're explaining light and dark spirits in here, it's not good or evil. This is cool and hot, calm and forceful, nurturing and disruptive. Dark spirits, often feared or misunderstood, are shown to be particularly effective to removing obstacles. Because you can have some hot spirits in there, and and there's a lot of people work with petro spirits. You'll see that in voodoo. We call them petro spirits, hot spirits in voodoo. They work fast, they're very strong, they get the work done, and they get out of there. I'm scared of dark stuff, but I know it's because I see in the workplace, in the family members. I'm scared of dark stuff. Okay, so when they're talking about dark in this particular book, they're talking about hot and cold spirits. There's no reason to be scared of anything dark, the way they have presented it. Okay, so there's no afraid, no. I'll talk about that in another video, but there's no need to be afraid of that. And again, we're talking about dark spirits, we're talking about hot spirits, we're talking about, and these are the same spirits that Haiti used to get their freedom and liberation. And these are the same spirits that they didn't want America, because the Haitians, they are not African. Let's get this together. These are indigenous people. I know they told you that these people came from Africa and stuff like that. No. Okay, but probably with a small percentage, but some people are indigenous. And they were afraid, because that voodoo did make it up on the shores of America. They were afraid that we were going to use that same technique to overthrow the American government. Excuse me, you guys. I'm wrestling with a cold over here, but I'm pressing forward. Well, please excuse me. I'm sorry. I've been on my tea, my vitamin C, my ginger, my lemon and lime. I've been taking care of myself, okay? They didn't want that in America. They were afraid of that. That's what they're scared. Why do you think we can't open up a book in over there when we go into North American Magic? We can't open up any of their books without them talking about you. They always gonna talk about hoodoo and voodoo. The minute that they find out about our magic, they start taking a name and applying it to themselves. They don't do that because it don't work, y'all. I keep telling you that. They do it because it absolutely works. Okay? I embrace your vibes. They do it because it works. I got to get that in your head. And I have to show you in these books where these people talk about your stuff. They want your stuff. They know how powerful it is. And some of them think they doing hoodoo, but they ain't, If you think that's what you want to call it, you can. I got to stop it with the appropriation stuff. They got to stop it with that. But they know your stuff work. In order talking about North American folk magic, they're going to put you front and center. They're going to put hoodoo front and center. Because hoodoo changed the healthcare system. Our great mothers who just went through the Conjuring of America, we had our mothers going in there helping these folks. And you think hoodoo was just magic? No, hoodoo was healing. Hoodoo was liberation. Hoodoo was getting justice. That's why I have to tell some of these people that's over there, they got this. We know what we do over here. That's why I can't let you keep going over there, getting initiated over there. Okay? You got ancestors right there in the Americas. You got your own powerful hoodoo right there on that land. Now, if they over there in Africa with their stuff, use your stuff to fight y'all oppressor, because that's what we did over here. Stop pulling us over there into that. Okay? I don't know what you're getting out of that. Use your stuff. If it's that powerful, stop trying to make us feel less than or whatever. You know, I kind of feel like they do that sometimes and think we're going your stuff is better than our stuff. But if it was better than our stuff, how come you ain't using that to get them rascals up out of there? Okay, that's what we did with Hoodoo and Voodoo. That's why they were scared of us. You see what happened in Haiti. If that's not happening over there, so how's your stuff better than our stuff? And y'all need to stop jumping over there and start asking them that. Why aren't y'all creating a revolution with y'all stuff and stop dragging us over there? Because see, we busy using our stuff to get freedom and liberation. Okay? They were very afraid of that, and we have used that in the court system is all that. We've used hoodoo to lay people on the use that for that. And why y'all so, gun-ho on initiating us into that? Think about that, you guys. Let's think about that for a minute. Your ancestor stuff was get liberation and freedom. You think that is more powerful than that? All of it's ancestral from the get-go. So let's just get that straight now. Like I told you, I look at these religions, ain't nothing but colonized spiritual practices. That's how I look at it. I'm sorry that I'm saying it like that, but that's how I look at it. Okay? Now, if it was so powerful and it was so, it's supposed to make things so better, then you need to get it to work over there in your country. You need to begin to let's stop pulling us over there and then gatekeeping and then try to make it seem like y'all better than us or you're more powerful. Because you're not. You're not. And until I see your stuff do what hoodoo do and voodoo do, don't pull me over there. And then when what really gets me, I look over there and don't know about it. A lot of people over there don't look like me. Ancestors rolling over in their grave, honey. Oh, they don't like that. Let them people come over there like that. Okay? Then talking about it's a clothes, it's a religion. No, it ain't. No, it ain't. Okay? Stop pulling us over there. And I'm not trying to be funny, but really think about that. I don't want nothing that ain't got no power, that ain't liberating me and giving me freedom. Gonna keep me restricted and gatekeeping. I'm not getting over there. I'm standing right on these ancestors and right on this hoodoo and voodoo. That's what I'm standing on. And if they want me to work with that, they'll take me over there. Stop initiating people. I don't recommend it. Let me see you create a revolution with your spiritual practice. Let me see that. I got to see that first. Let me see you create a revolution with your spiritual practice, because them people over there, you ain't done that yet. You got these colonized minds that ain't helping you. And with hoodoo, we were trying to fight the colonizer mind. And here you come over here with the colonizer mind. Okay, so think about that, you guys. They seem to use it against each other. Their black officials and politicians use it to control their own. They created a crossed up cage. I don't know what they're doing, but I'm suspicious of that when you're trying to get me in there and you're not using it to fight these colonizers that's coming in there doing stuff to y'all. Okay? Something going on with that. Why you so, why are y'all so obsessed with initiating people? That ain't supposed to be like that. God, I can't emphasize that enough. I know y'all tired of me saying it, but it's not supposed to be like that. That's why I'm saying it. I'm tired of the Mexican people pushing initiation for West Congo and Yoruba with the Orisha. They just need to stop it. Okay, your ancestors made this for you. And I know you think it's not an ATR. It absolutely is an ATR. You start working these steps and doing the work, it's gonna feel like you're gonna see it for yourself. Okay? But again, you have some magicians, you got some people that go directly into conjuring. Working with spirits. Can you do that? Yes, you absolutely can. I do not recommend it. Okay, you can find yourself in a pickle because you don't know what you're doing. Now, when we go into possession, because this book does talk about possession and embodiment, and I've seen some people do that. The first time I've seen the possession of the embodiment, I start seeing practitioners let angels take over and do healing work, and you'll have that sometimes. They do that in covens too. Okay, and you're kind of seeing that too uh, in some of the ceremonies when these loas begin to take in possession or ride you. But you can also, again, when you start to embody Oshun or to embody these angels, you can let them take over your body and do healing work. Now you'll see this too. Where did I see that? I think this is in Umbanda when they do misas and things like that. You'll see a lot of this work being done where these angels or the lords or the ancestors will come down and mount the person when they're doing spiritual work. Sometimes you are mildly aware of the work that they're doing in your body, on another person, and this is very possible. But again, this takes some practice and for you letting go. And that's at some point, we do want that to happen at some point with the right spirit. Yeah, tens of thousands of dollars, you sure right. Hoodoo Lotus. It's crazy. It's insane. I'm not gonna go there with these people. Okay. I said what I said. I meant that. That stuff don't make no sense. Okay, so again, that's what you want. You're gonna see that, and then we again, what you think that Holy Spirit was about in the church. You can't be scared of possession, and you up there speaking in tongues and jumping up and down and stuff. So don't tell me you scared of possession. You weren't saying that when you was jumping up and down in church, speaking in tongues, rolling around on the floor. You weren't scared then, because they called it the Holy Spirit. It's the same thing. You go look at the voodoo ceremony and look at that; it look the same. Okay. So you will get that sometimes. Especially these people talking they speak in light language and all that stuff. What you think that's coming through there? Okay? Allowing the spirit to work through one's body, whether it's an archangel or during healing or ancestor during guidance, is presented as a collaborative act rather than a loss of control. The practitioner remains aware while the spirit expresses power through the physical form, bringing spiritual work fully into the material world. This is very possible. It can be done. You got shamans that do the same kind of thing too. Okay. So that is very possible. This book is going to cover it's going to touch on that subject. It's going to talk about a variety of different spirits and how to form a relationship with your ancestors and spirits. Okay, sweating out of every pore, sliding down the wall. Mm-hmm. That stuff don't make no sense, Lord. Okay. So that's what they're gonna be talking that's what they're gonna be talking about. Now let's go into pacts. Because I wanted to touch this subject, and I know, I kind of think a lot of this goes on in some of the ATRs by the way they act when they see us doing work with these different spirits, and we're not affiliated we haven't initiated into their religion, because that's what it's about. Some of them act like they lost their mind. They see us working with Oshun effectively, and our ancestors took us over there. And some of these people get mad as hell. Okay, and so that's why we're talking about pacts too. Because I figured, because I was asking ancestors, what am I looking at? They said they're making pacts, and that's why they're mad at you. Okay, a lot of them making pacts with these spirits. And that's what's going on. Okay, and yes, very possible to do. The topic of pacts is handled with particular care. Pacts are described as bargains of desperation. Pacts are described not as bargains of desperation, but as a structured agreement rooted in devotion, exchange, and alignment of purpose. This book demystifies pact formation by explaining the nature of different spirit allies. Demons, while powerful, require precision and caution due to their legalistic nature. Now, when you are, again, because you can work, if you're over there in Conjure, you have this information. If you're in our Conjure membership, you already have this information over there. Yeah. Okay. So some of these demons, and not all of them, if you're not careful and you don't understand the language that they're using, you can find yourself in the pickle with some of them. Okay. Some of these pacts can be long term, some of them can be short term. But really, look at the wording. I hope you would never have to work with a demon. I hope you don't never have to work with one. Not that all of them are bad, because they get a bad rap. A lot of them get a bad rap, and not all of them bad. But really be careful when you're going over there. Okay, so it requires precision due to their legalistic nature. Angels operate from a broader perspective. That's why we have you working with angels. Okay. Now with them, when you're making purposes, pacts and stuff with them, they're probably going to require you to do some type of healing work or some type of philanthropy work or something like that for them to do things for you. I do rather that you be working with angels. That's why I have you working with archangels. That's why you got so much information on archangels up there. That's why you see me pounding it in your head, because I know the benefits of working with them. Okay. So those you can go into agreements with them, long term or short term. But mostly, if you're making agreements with them, it's going to be, geared towards your healing, your growth, or doing some type of charity work or something like that. That's usually how the angels work. They're going to work with you that way. It's going to benefit you. Okay. Now, your ancestors are, again, the most powerful, reliable allies. They are invested in you. So again, you have some ancestors, they want things for you, but they know that if you haven't healed a particular thing in yourself, it ain't gonna do them no good to bless you with that, because you still haven't moved some things out. And sometimes they'll tell you that. Okay, we want to bless you with this, but you over here doing raggedy stuff. You won't stop it. If you stop doing this and work on this, then yeah, we'll open it up if you heal this wound, because it's there. Okay. And once you heal it, then that thing happens. And so you'll have that sometime, especially if you're moving some trauma and stuff at your lineage. Not that they don't want to have it, give it to you. It'd be because if they know they give it to you, you ain't gonna do nothing but hurt yourself. They know what they doing. Okay. And sometimes that happen. And once you heal that thing, bam, you get what you need or what you ask for. These spirits are more interested in your self-development, stuff like that. You caught up in this material stuff. You learn detachment real quick when you're dealing with these spirits, and you learn patience when you start doing magic. You start sitting back and watching it unfold rather than rushing it to happen. Okay. Now, deities, if you're gonna be working with deities such as Oshun, Ogun, Kali, it's a variety of others over there. God, I can just go on and on and on. These deities are more about alignment. You're not going to work well with them if you don't are in alignment with their characteristics. They're more about embodiment, becoming them. That's why you'll see a lot of them are categorized by their attributes and their personalities. And so when you're working with these deities, it's about aligning with the characteristics. That's why you'll hear people say, "Oh, you can't just," I'm just using because Oshun is so popular, Lord. Can't just work with Oshun. You got to become Oshun. You got to embody that energy. You waiting for her like a god to come out and do something for you, like externally out of you. No, You have to wake her up within you and to manifest her in your third, third dimensional reality. You're looking for her to be something outside of you, but really you're trying to access these attributes within you. Because like I said, a lot of these deities and spirits are a part of our collective consciousness. So not only are they outside of you, they are within you as well. Did that make sense to any of you? So let me dive into this book a little further. I feel like I'm not doing this book no justice here. This Streamlined Magic book here. I recommend that you go over this book thoroughly. Okay, go over this book thoroughly. This is a really good book to help you communicate with your ancestors. I'm trying to get to this part where it talked about doing your altar work, but this book goes into the offerings for your spirits, the different offerings that you can give to a variety of spirits. It always also goes through a ritual. Now, I'm going to say this before I even get to it. Now, when you're giving your offering, and I know you probably don't see that there, you just see people placing the offering on the altar and walking away. I'm going to ask you not to do that. Don't do that. Do not place offerings on your ancestor altar and walk away. You should be sitting there and opening yourself up for communication and meditation. You're going to get better results like that. Do not sit the offering there and walk away. I recommend that you not do that. You're going to see them talk about this in the book. I can't even get to this section. Do not do that. Now is the time. The ritual has started. So now communication is open. Now it's the time to fellowship with your ancestors. Okay? And telling them what what you're trying to do, what's going on with you. Just have a conversation. And then go into a short meditation, because meditation is where we listen. Before we pick up our tarot cards or anything, we're going to go into a short meditation. We're going to go within and see what we're picking up from our ancestors. We're improving our mediumship abilities as well. Let's document what we've picked up in meditation and then do a divination. The divination is there to confirm your meditation and communication with your ancestors. And as you do this, your communication with your ancestors is going to get better and better. Okay? And they're more likely to move things on your behalf when you are being present there with that offering and telling them what's going on with you. You'll find yourself having to do less magic. Want you to get these because the relationships are more important than the magic. If you have these spiritual relationships, you won't have to do that much magic. And if you do, you'll have more success in it. Does this make sense to you guys? Does it make sense? Okay. So don't just walk away. I know what you've seen up here. I know you see people get prepared for ritual. Do not walk away and leave an offering there and don't sit. You need to be sitting there at least once a week, at least 20 to 30 minutes. Now you have to slow you down, because yes, you do. You have time. I want to hear that crap. You just won't make the time. Okay? I don't want to hear that crap. I don't want to hear that crap. I ain't got time. Okay? It's because you won't make time. You make time for everything else. You make time to go get your hair done, your nails done. You make time to do raggedy stuff, to watch the football game and all this other stuff. You make time for TikTok. Okay? You make time for Facebook. Okay? Instagram, all this other stuff. This is just as important as that. So you better put it in your schedule. If you want these spirits to rock with you, honey, they don't care about no money. These spirits like time. They ain't impressed by that, because they know time you can't get back. Once time is gone, it's gone. And they see you spending your time with that. Oh, they love that. This is about relationships. Okay? And you're gonna need that. You're gonna need some friends on the other side. So I don't want to hear that. Tell Miss Penn, I ain't got time. It's because you don't make time. You ain't for real there. When you saying that, you tell the spirits, I'm just faking the job and I ain't for real. I'm just playing around. I'm just doing it because it's a trend. Now I don't really want them in my life. I'm just taking and jiving. That's what you're telling them. And they're gonna proceed accordingly. Since you feel like that you ain't got time for them, they ain't got time for you. Okay? I get you to slow down and looking at that. So it is very good that if you're going to sit that offering up there, is go ahead and prepare to fellowship with your ancestors. If you want to, you can eat dinner with them, eat with them, and talk to them. Okay, just like I'm talking to you. It's no formal, sense in bringing the fluff with your ancestors and stuff. Uh, they're not moved by your fancy words like these people be using on us. They want you to be talking from your heart. Ain't no sense in you going there with that fluff because these spirits can see right through you. Just stop it. Stop trying to make it look like fancy like these other people. They ain't even concerned with that. They more concerned, did you mean what you say? They ain't concerned with all these fancy words you trying to come up with to be fancy and stuff like that. If you want to do that, that's fine. But you do get better results is being sincere, coming in with an open heart, than going in there with the fluff and trying to. Because you can't fool them. You can fool these people with that stuff, but you can't fool these spirits. Okay? So again, when you're going to that altar, do not just sit the food there. Prepare to sit there because the fellowship will begin. Now, the more you do that and you start meditating, because some of you saying, I don't dream about my ancestors or not anything. Are you doing this? Because once you open up your mind and trying to meditate and communicate with them, you're inviting them to meet you in your consciousness, in your mind. You might even start having dreams. The more consistent you are at your rituals, working with angels, spirits at your altar, they're going to start running up in your dreams. I assure you of that. You're going to start having dreams. That's how you know. That's when the initiation begins. The initiation begins when these spirits make contact, not when you jump over there in a religion and pay $10,000. I know what they're telling you. You don't have no guarantee when you pay $10,000 that a spirit gonna come up on you. That's what you're going over there, right? For is to get friends with spirits, right? That's what I'll be jumping over there for, to have a spiritual experience. That's not guaranteed to happen. Even when you get over there, they're gonna have you doing the exact same thing I'm having you do now. It's gonna look similar to what we're doing to get you again in a closer, deeper relationship with these spirits. They're gonna have you doing rituals, buying all kinds of stuff. Lord, some of that stuff is expensive. They're gonna have you doing weekly rituals, being consistent with those rituals. You know why? Because they're trying to again get it embedded in your subconscious so you can start having experience with these spirits. Same thing I'm doing. No different. Okay. And so again, being consistent with your rituals. If you are practicing hoodoo and you say, hey, Miss Penny, I'm not getting many results. If you get in our community, I'm just going to have you recalibrate and start back over. Give you a better foundation and then start from there and start, and I'm pretty sure the way we got things set up over there, you're going to get results if you put in the work. But none of this works if you don't put in the work. I don't care what you see on here. It doesn't work if you're not willing to sit down and do the work. And these spirits are watching you. And you have some people think, well, hey, it's supposed to happen automatically. You might not see no spiritual contact for 2 or 3 weeks because these spirits watching you, they like consistency. Okay. But within 2 or 3 weeks, you should be having some type of experience if you're being consistent. If you're going there sincere and doing the work, you should start having some sort of experiences. Okay. Now, when you start in this journey, hoodoo is not a fly by thing, it's a practice. So you build on your practice The more you invest in it and the little things you learn along the way, it's no contest. You're just going to grow, 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 and get better and better at it. But the only way to do that is to get close to your ancestors and build a relationship with some of these spirits, because magic does not work without it. I'm just going to be frank with you. I'm not going to give you any fluff. Does anyone have any questions? And you ought to be getting this book today. You can go back over here. You ought to be getting, you should have gotten this book yesterday. I'm looking at our library here to see how I got things laid out for you guys. Yeah, you should have gotten the spiritual bath here. Let me go to the library. You just got the book Badass Ancestors. Love that book. Got that book the other day. I think you guys, yeah, you guys got that a few days ago. Just went over African magic. Just went over altars. And you should be getting another book on the magical Psalms. This is a great book. I love these Psalms. This is a brand new book, so you'll be getting that soon. Should be getting that tomorrow. And after, guys, we're going to be slowing down in our community. I know you'll get a chance to catch up because I'm just going to end this month. Again, just focus on self care, um, just relaxing, and it gives you a time enough to catch up and do some reading. So I won't be posting anything for the rest of this year after the what I say after the Psalms drop. I won't be posting anything else that gives you time enough to catch up. Okay, I won't start posting again until the beginning of next year. A single note said, "Thank you. I'm reading 3 books at the same time. Well, I'm gonna slow down, okay? So I'm gonna slow down, give you guys enough to do some self check in, some self care, and to catch up on some reading. Okay. Now, if you need anything, or if there's a book that you want me to go over, and you want to chime in on, you guys let me know, because this is your community. Let me know how you want your community to look, and let me know, what is your learning curve? What can we do to help your learning curve? This is your community too. What do you learn here that you want to share with your community? Engage, 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 you guys. Okay? It's your community too. It's not just my community. If there's something that you think that'll benefit our community, I ain't gonna get mad. Let me know what's gonna help you. Okay? Let me know. Get in my chat box. I know Seeker of No is always in my chat box, giving me his feedback and what he think that's gonna help, and I appreciate that. Okay? I'm not gonna get mad and nothing like that. I'm like, okay, maybe you own to something. Because I know the ancestors work through y'all. I know how the spirits work. So sometimes you're bringing things to my attention I don't see. I don't know if the ancestors are using you or not. Okay. So I'm going to consider, I'm not going to get mad, because it's our community, and I want to help you learn as much as I can if that's going to help you. I'm open to helping you learn. Okay. I'm not going to get mad. I'm not going to get upset. You helping me. This is your community. So you're not going to get mad. And I ain't the type to think I know everything. Or I'm not like that. Okay. You won't know until you start interacting with me, and you be like, oh my gosh, she's just a simple person. Yes, I am. Okay. Is that the new book, the Book of Psalms? I think Psalms, because doing our research on Psalms and looking at Psalms is a lot older than Christianity. And so when I was looking at Psalms, these have always been remedies, ritual spells, remedies that was used before the Bible was even created. Yeah. So these remedies, they started out as remedies and things like that, but they're a lot older than that because they contain so much psychic power. Now, what I've noticed about Psalms too, and a lot of people say that you will see them. I don't even know how to word this because they have did a job with this Bible, Lord. You'll see them in different areas and different chapters. Like they didn't complete this full psalm. And instead of completing on this side, you'll see it in another psalm being completed in that way. I don't know. It's almost like they did some type of a scramble with that. Like they scrambled some stuff up with the psalms, but they're a lot older and a lot powerful. Okay, they're very ancient, and they have been remedies that were being used before the Bible was even constructed. Okay, so Psalms is a good to use. Yes. Okay, and that's why we use it. Now, the book that we're going into now we just did the secret of Psalms. Now that's, and I know a lot of y'all use the power of Psalms. I don't particularly like that book, and a lot of y'all got that book. That book is being promoted for Hoodoo, but I don't particularly like that book. I like that book, Secrets of Psalms, because you get a chance to see the angels and the spirits that are in the Psalms. And Lord is a generic word for another spirit that's being evoked in these Psalms. And see that you don't get that all that privy information in the power of Psalms, but you do in the secrets of Psalms written by Godfrey Silic. Now, this other book, now you guys know you got me getting nerdy. This is Secret of No, got me doing this stuff now. Secret of No. Now, this other book you're going to get ready to get, it's better. Oh my God. You guys, I'm always looking for good resources for you guys. This book is better than the Secret Teachings of Psalms. Oh my God, they break it down. So these books, you're going to love these books because not only are they breaking down these the name of these different names of God that's being evoked in the Psalms that's fallen under Lord. Not only do they reveal that, they also reveal different type of sigils and things like that that's in the Psalms that people that go unrecognized. And so again, we get to go deeper into this, understanding this occult knowledge and really understanding more about the Psalms. So I think you're really going to like these books. And the name of these books, because you're going to get three of them. You're going to get three Psalms. And it's called the Book of Magical Psalms. Okay. And it's going to be a series. You're going to get three of those. And I like this because these books are expounding on Godfrey Silik's work when it comes to invoking these names of God or angels that's in the Psalms. So it's just giving you more clarity on that. So you get the chance to study Psalms in a deeper way. And again, bring more knowledge and wisdom into your practice. So I really think you're going to love these books. Yes, I need the breakdowns because it can be confusing having you guessing. But these books are excellent for that. I like the way they broken down the Psalms, providing you the esoteric and occult names that's written embedded within the Psalms. Again, giving you greater precise when it comes to using them. That's just the Book of Magical Psalms. Yes, that's the name of it. So I know a lot of people Hoodoo practitioners, they use the power of Psalms. I never liked that book when I first got that book. I said I do not like this book. I never liked it. I didn't use that book. Then I got the Secret of Psalms. The Secret of Psalms I liked because again, there's a lot of Jewish mysticism in Hoodoo, and so when Godfrey Silic wrote that, he added those components, giving me a greater understanding of why we're using the Psalms. You guys know I'm nerdy, okay? I'm kind of nerdy, and so I like that book. And then I ran into these books because I was like, because we're still, and you guys have so many books on Psalms. We do. Y'all have so many books on Psalms. Y'all have so many different ways to approach that. Whatever's comfortable with you, okay? But then I found these books, and I was like, oh my gosh, we can really use these books. That just give us more information about this book, about Psalms, you know. And so I said, I'm going to add this to our resources to be something for us to look into. So you have some more resources on Psalms as well. And I know I've given you plenty of books on Psalms. Okay. Power of Psalms was extremely confusing to me. I didn't like it. And who wrote that book? I think her name is Anna Riva. I didn't like the way I just didn't like it. Seemed like it was just so piled together. It's just bunched together. I didn't like that. And then I like The Secret Power of Songs by Godfrey Silich, but I did see, like, I can see, because the book is old. I think that book was written, it's an old book. I think that book is like 30, 40 years old, maybe 50 years old. But I see, it needed to be upgraded. I could see where there was areas where it was room to be upgraded. And then when I ran into the magical, uh, thing of Psalms, these series here, and they expounded off Godfrey Silich's work, and I was like, this is it. And I got to look at it. I said, this is going to help us too. So let me put this here. Okay. I didn't know I was reading the right Psalms for my situation. I know. And that's why I say, too, always, because they recommend for you to do that songs for a situation, it may not make sense to you. And if it don't make sense to you, then your magic ain't gonna work, because you got to be able to feel what you're saying. And if you can't feel what you're saying, then it's not gonna work. And people need to start saying that instead of giving people these songs and stuff. Just because that song worked for you and you understood it to move your work, that person mind, they may see that and don't even see that in there. They don't see nothing that you talk that. That's why it's not good for us. It's not good for us to interpret the scripture for somebody. It's good for us to have a discussion and ask, what did that mean to you? What does that mean for you? Because it might mean something different. Now there are staple psalms that we use, but for particular type of work, if you don't resonate, you can't feel that, then I don't recommend you use it. Find something that you can resonate with and use. Okay, I do gain some experience. I didn't understand that statement. Which tier do you suggest that I join on Patreon? I always say the ritual. I think the ritual is the best one. It's the best tier. Okay. You have some experience. Okay, if you have some experience, I think the ritual is good. You can perfect your ritual. It'll help you have more spiritual experiences. That'll help you heighten your intuition. It'll help you perfect your spell work. The ritual tier has the capacity to do that. And really, the ritual is all about consistency. Usually, if you're not hearing spirit, and you feel like there is a type of connection with spirit, loss of connection that you're having with spirit, usually has a lot to do with ritual and consistency. And once you get that started, then you'll start feeling or having a deeper and closer relationship with these spirits. But it's usually because you haven't perfected the ritual. Okay. Okay. So again, if you guys want me to cover anything, you guys let me know. And we're going into next year. And if there's anything I can do, because I think I'm going to slow down because we have so many resources in there. So I'm really getting with the ancestors and really trying to find out what is the best way to support our community going into next year. And if you guys have any ideas on how you want our community to look next year, please chime in, chat with me. I want to know, because I want to make it easy for you. Don't be afraid to communicate with me, because I'm there for you. The ancestors got me there for you. This is our community. So if there's something that you want to see, you want our community to look like, anything you want us to add, if you guys want to participate more in some of the activities, let me know. I don't know if you guys are not talking to me, and don't be afraid to talk to me. I'm not gonna bite your head off or anything like that. I'm kind of really easy to talk to. Okay, you are you are very easy to give feedback to. That's good. And Sika, now he love giving me feedback, honey, and he means well. He be trying to help me, you know, and I know he be trying to help. I said, I know you're trying to help me. Okay. He loves giving his feedback. He's very helpful and helped me out in a lot of things about some things to my work. So if you like giving feedback, and I have another one like that too. Kay, the one she like giving me feedback too. I didn't post the new moon thing in there. I hadn't got to it yet, but I knew Esther said she gonna come to you again and ask you to post that new moon thing, because she follows that every time you post something about the moon. She follows that. And I be damned, I got busy with something. She said, Miss Penny, are you gonna post that new moon thing? Because I follow that stuff that you post there. I said, yes, baby. I just dropped it. Okay. So she like giving her suggestions too. I have a few in there that like giving suggestions. And I don't mind because it's your community too. You're telling me how you want your community to look. What benefits you want out of your community. I don't know until you tell me, until you share it with me. I want to join the community. I follow you, but I don't get the notifications that you're live. Sometimes I don't know why it's doing that. Sometimes I post when I'm coming live here on TikTok, and sometimes I don't. But I don't know why you ain't get no notification, baby. It's those little boogers. It's those tech boogers that's doing it. That's what they're doing it, baby. Okay? They don't want you to get it. Okay, I don't know why you're not getting the notification. Okay, the Holy Tablet also includes the Psalms that were translated into actual spirits David was communing with. Okay. I used the power of Psalms for court, and it did tremendously work. Included by my ancestors' artwork, the book is clunky, though, and repetitive. Oh, yeah, it can be. But it worked for you, and that's all that matter, Shamara. It worked. Okay? Okay. All right. Okay, so if there's no more questions here, I'm going to go ahead and close out. Thank you for everyone who attended the live stream today. Um, get over there in our community. We're going into next year strong. And if you have any suggestions of how you want our community to look or anything that we can add that's going to help our community, don't be afraid to reach out to me. I'm not going to be upset. Okay, it's not mine, it's ours. It's not mine, it's ours. Okay, so keep that in mind. Do not be shy. I'm not gonna bite your head off. Okay, I'm open to your suggestions. I don't know until you share it with me. All right, I love you guys. You guys take care. I'll talk to you soon.